You are about to enter the Fantasy Football Show. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? We've got some news, some breaking news. Jameson Williams is active for week number 4 after the NFL amends some of their punishments regarding gambling while on the facility, gambling on sports, gambling on pro football. We'll talk about all that stuff and more. We also have Austin Ekeler doubtful. Anthony Richardson's back, and whether you should start him or not. And we've got a whole bunch of other stuff. Ayuk, Debo, and we're breaking it all down right now. The Fantasy Football Show begins right now.
Live from the FantasyFootballShow.com studios. It's the Fantasy Football Show. Live! Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Smitty is also live whenever news breaks.
From the FantasyFootballShow.com news desk, here is your breaking news.
I don't know what's going on with my soundboard. I'm sorry. Ekeler is doubtful. We talked about that just a second ago, but we're going to get into that. Jameson Williams. My system. I got to restart my system again. Nothing's working. Appreciate you all being here. File on in. Hit that like button on your way in the door. Appreciate every single one of you. First Super Chatters already here with Axe with a $4.99 holler. Thank you, Axe. Appreciate you. Axe to the moon. Appreciate you, Axe. You're my boy, Blue. Well, let's get to these pieces of news, and then we'll get to whatever questions. We'll take some phone calls. We might even actually draft. And if you want to draft with me tonight, hit this link right here, Underdog Fantasy, promo code Smitty. Let me go ahead and pin that link right now. And just want a moonshot. Here you go, Axe. Moonshot for you, pal.
To the moon.
Moonshot for Axe for coming in with the top super chat of the day. Or the first super chat of the day. So here we are. Some good news here if you're a Jameson Williams owner. He's been activated and ready to play off the reserve suspended list now. The NFL went ahead and made some changes to their punishments and things relating to gambling on sports. And I won't go through the whole thing and read it to you word for word, but just that there's a minimum of 1 year for betting on the NFL, 2 years if a player bets on an NFL game that involves his team, permanent ban if someone actually tries to fix a game, and inside information and tipping, indefinite suspension, minimum of 1 year, and betting on other than NFL sports, which is what this last bullet point, Jameson Williams is the one that fell into this category here. So let me highlight that. Betting on other sports regardless of which sport it is, as long as it's not the NFL. But while working or in the workplace. So if you're on the team bus, if you're on the facility, this is what Jameson Williams did. 2-game suspension without pay. Second violation, 6-game suspension without pay. Third violation, suspension without pay for at least 1 year. So that means that his 6-game suspension is getting reduced to 2. We're entering week 4, so he is free. Free Jameson Williams. This was a overly, knee-jerk type of rule anyway. The suspension, 6-game suspension people were throwing on this, like, it was crazy. So it's good news to see the NFL backing off that. Indefinite suspension or a permanent ban if you actually try and fix a game, I think that's called for. I think if a player goes out and tries to bet against their team or tries to fix a game, they should be out forever. The integrity of the game is in question at that point. But what Jameson did to get 6 games when Alvin Kamara is facing less of a punishment was crazy. It was absolutely crazy that this man was betting on a non-football sport on facility. He knew the rules. He shouldn't have done it, but the punishment was just insane. It did not fit the crime. So welcoming him back. I don't know what good he's going to be in his first game back. Remember, he played 6 games last year and only caught 1 pass in 6 games and has been struggling with injuries this offseason, so we don't even know how healthy he'll be, but he will be active and he should be grabbed in any league where he might be available. Austin Ekeler is doubtful for week 4. They're probably going to rest him through the bye week, and at that point, he'll come back, he'll be strong, he'll be healthy. So if anybody has Austin Ekeler, it's a bummer, but hopefully you can grab. I know not everybody's going to be interested in playing him this week, but I think, it depends on your alternatives. But I think that Joshua Kelly is still going to get run, and maybe he redeems himself a little bit. I'm not saying it's a great play, but it's certainly a play that you might have to just bite the bullet, throw him out there. It just depends on what other options you have. But I think he has a chance to maybe redeem himself a little bit. But Austin Ekeler and the Chargers have a Week 5 bye. So that means he gets the 2 weeks of rest, and Austin Ekeler should be back. He's a great buy low, a fantastic buy low, a 100% win a league buy low if you can weather the storm and walk out of, week number 5 being at least like 2 wins. Two wins. If you have 2 wins coming out of week number 5 and you have Austin Ekeler and your team is, in your mind, the best team out there, I think you're going to have a comeback beyond comeback. So he is a great buy low for somebody that needs a big swing. This man right here, Colts quarterback, rookie sensation, rushing touchdown machine, is back. He will start week 4, and he should be in everybody's lineups. He's a top 6 to 10 quarterback. Very wide range because there are a lot of good quarterbacks scoring a lot of good points. A lot of quarterbacks not scoring a lot of good points that are still ranked in the top 10. Kind of a tough quarterback. Quarterback starts right now are tough. Very, very tough because a lot of people will have a Joe Burrow and an Anthony Richardson, or a Kirk Cousins and Anthony Richardson. So you're putting a bind trying to decide between those two. Sean McVay said Cooper Kupp will start practicing next week, indicating the team will be open. We'll open the 21-day window to activate him off the IR. We'll have to wait and see what's going on with Cooper Kupp. I mean, he's still 30 years old, still coming back from an injury that he couldn't shake, and there's still a decent chance that he, is able to recover and become an elite, wide receiver go forward for the remainder of this season. Troy, welcome to the YouTube exclusive membership. Troy, appreciate you. But there's also, I think, a similar risk, like 50-50 in my mind, and that's just a arbitrary number I'm throwing out there just based on my assessment of it, but that there's a 50-50 chance he re-injures it or suffers some sort of compensation injury because he's trying to hold back on the hammy. So I'm not super excited about Cooper Kupp right now, but I would buy low if I'm in need. If I'm a team that's like 2 wins, 1 win, 0 wins, and I need to shake things up, he's kind of an interesting go-get. If you own him, he's kind of a hold at this point. You've kind of weathered the storm. Are you going to go throw Cooper Kupp to some other player, some other owner in your league that hasn't waited patiently like you? So it just kind of depends on the vantage point. He's a good buy low. He's a good sell high if you could sell him high, and he's a good hold. He's just all of those things depending on which vantage point you're coming from. Let's get to these super chats in 1 second. Charlie Jones is on injured reserve. He's out a minimum of 4 games. This isn't super significant other than it makes me think T. Higgins has a better chance to rebound in the next couple of games, whereas maybe with Charlie Jones there, not that Charlie Jones was like taking a whole bunch from him or anything, but it does minimize the options for Joe Burrow. It does make the temptation of maybe giving T. Higgins less work not a doable or feasible thing. So Higgins is going to get volume. I think Higgins is a pretty decent buy low or hold. I would not sell him low, but that news, it does impact Higgins, and I think people should expect Higgins to have a little bit of a bounce back. He's been awful. He's no points in week 1, horrible in week 3. Deebo Samuel is questionable for week number 4, but everything Kyle Shanahan has hinted about has been that Deebo Samuel's, it's not a big deal. He'll be fine. It's a rib injury. He suffered the rib injury, was down on the ground for a second. Everybody that had Deebo was just panicking, right? But he came back in and caught an amazing touchdown grab. Had an amazing week number 3. So don't even think for a second this guy, unless he suffers a setback, isn't going to play week number 4. I'll certainly let you know if something changes. This right here, Kyle Shanahan also said Brandon Ayuk, who missed last week's game due to a shoulder injury, had a real good week. He's good to go off the injury report. Excited to have him back. That's great news too. He's also a very good buy low. I don't think you could sell him high, but he'd be a very good buy low if you had, let's say, a big name wide receiver big name like Diggs, you're not winning. You've got 1 win, you got 0 wins, and you need to do something. You need to divide and conquer one player into 2. Ayuk would be, now you have to get a very good second player, but Ayuk would be a good piece. So go ahead and definitely go grab Ayuk and a piece for your Diggs, but it has to be the right piece. So if you need a 2-for-1, he's a great, fantastic player to throw into the mix. All right, here we go. I think that's it for the news. This one right here was Cooper Kupp will start. I already got that one. And then Austin Eckler's doubtful. I think we're all caught up on all the news. Let's get to the Super Chats. Appreciate you. All right, here we go. Debo pop up on another report. What are you saying there, Travis? I'll pull up the news on Debo. Debo knee questionable. Debo is not seen at the start of practice, but was ultimately listed as a limited participant. He likely got in a very light session. Kyle Shanahan downplayed the severity of the injury earlier this week. So Samuel should be able to suit up and be good to go for week 4. I don't think there's a concern for Debo. That's the latest report. That was 2 hours ago from NBC Sports. I don't think there's any issue with the knee. There's no real concern there. The ribs were the main issue, and everything downplayed by Shanahan, saying not a big deal. I think we're good to go on Debo. Well, I'll keep you posted if anything does change on that, though. Anthony, appreciate you. Traded CD away for Ridley and Mike Evans. I like that. Smitty approved that. I could get behind. Definitely feel like that's a great move. Thomas with a super chat here. Yo, Smitty, 12-team PPR Dynasty Superflex tight end premium traded Garrett Wilson and Pittman and Kincaid contending team. Also have Laporta. Thoughts? Traded. Let's see here. Traded Garrett Wilson for Pittman and Kincaid. I love Kincaid, but I like Garrett Wilson more, and this is a dynasty, so I'm definitely not making that trade, honestly. But could it work out for you? Absolutely. But Garrett Wilson shouldn't be sold in a dynasty, as if he can't get back to the glory of a top 5 to 10 wide receiver. Hey, Lando, I'm doing some super chats first, but I'll give you 30 seconds, bro.
Hey, Smitty, good evening. Thanks a lot for the vine, bro. Just a quick question. It's a trade question. In a trade offer, who would be winning between JSN or Jahan Dotson?
In redraft or dynasty?
This would be redraft.
I mean, neither one of them has showed up yet, but I do believe JSN will. And I don't know about Jahan. I'm not giving up on Jahan. I'm not going to drop him, but it certainly depends on, call your boy Loud. Welcome to the YouTube exclusive memberships, my guy. Appreciate you signing up. I would say, I would go JSN. I just think JSN's a talent. He's, injury strikes that wide receiver room, and all of a sudden we're in a whole different territory, whereas Jahan Dotson's in that current role that JSN would, I think, thrive in. But we'll see. They're both very, very good players, and we just need to see him show up. But we knew JSN would be potentially a slow-moving process. Like he's the third wide receiver in an offense that doesn't always run 3 wide receiver sets. You know what I mean? So we got to be a little careful to expect the world and then just completely, come in and be like, why isn't he doing well? Let's cut him. Let's cut him loose. We're 3 weeks in. Similar to Kincaid though. Kincaid was a patient play, and everybody's giving up on him now, saying, "Well, I don't see anything." Well, we didn't expect to. It was going to be just icing on the cake if he could get going in week 1, 2, or 3. All right, bro. Call back in when we open up the phone lines. Appreciate you later. Okay, back to the super chats here. KH3, appreciate you. What's good? Trade package to get from CD. I'd probably say CD Lamb. I'm going down to a Debo. I'm going down to a Devonta Smith. I'm going down to in some cases, Ridley, and getting that player and an additional player. It depends on what they have. You obviously want to try your best to get a Breece Hall type player. Any of those things will work. All right, last call. This is the last call until we open up the phone lines, bro. 30 seconds. You got 25 seconds. Hurry.
Smitty, I traded my Justin Herbert and Amon-Ra for Bijan and Chris Olave. I had Anthony Richardson on the bench. So now I have Travis Kelce,
Smash.
Bijan, and
Smash.
a couple other stack players.
Yeah, I mean, Herbert's a good player. I mean, it's good. He's a good scorer, but you got Anthony Richardson. You're banking on that. You're gonna roll on over to Richardson as your quarterback. You got Olave now practically for free in a way. I like it, bro. I like it. Smash. Good move. Very good move. All right. Back to this one. So, yeah, just go find a Hall. Go find a player of that caliber. Even if you go straight down to like a Ridley from CD and you get an Achane, that might be enough to say, I like Ridley quietly as much. You know, is there risk with Ridley? Sure. Is there risk with every player right now? There certainly feels like it. So, you know, whatever you can get to get added on. Yo, Legend, G, Wilson, and Gibbs for Aaron Jones. You know, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. We're here. Alex, welcome to the YouTube exclusive membership. Appreciate you. To the moon, Alex. I appreciate you joining up. This is crazy, bro, that we're at this stage where Garrett Wilson's not Garrett Wilson and Gibbs aren't crushing Aaron Jones. But we have to recognize the realities of the situation. I'd probably say it depends on your depth. If you can endure at wide receiver after this, like you're at least starting a Pickens, and that's what you're going from, Garrett Wilson to Pickens, and you're even debating starting Garrett Wilson each week anyway, then Aaron Jones is the move here. It's the safest move. And granted, he didn't do well last night, but he was coming back. He was on a snap count. I definitely feel like Aaron Jones is going to pick things up again. And they have to in order to get this offense back on track. And I think they know that. And that will get Jordan Love back on track in terms of being consistent. Appreciate every one of you being here. Appreciate every single one. I can't thank you enough for making this channel what it is today. We're at about 20. What are we at? We at 23,000 subscribers. We're almost at 23. We're about, if everybody in here that isn't subscribed right now, because we usually about 60% of or 40% of like anybody watching is somehow or some way not subscribed or watching another channel or account, whatever. Subscribe right now. We could get to 23K on this show. We're at 23,925, and I just want to say personally how grateful I am you guys come here to watch through thick and thin, through good and bad, through funny, not funny. We try and keep the show as lighthearted as we can. I try to open the phone lines as much as I can, and we will definitely open the phone lines tonight and probably draft tonight. And I'm going to drop that link one more time so you guys can all draft with us in a second for a week 6 through 17 draft. Troy dropping a 20 wad, $20 haulers get immediate assistance. I'm going to put both of you bad boys on the screen right here, Andrew and Troy. Thank you so much, gentlemen. Troy, you were first. Andrew, you were second. 400 people in the building. Let's hit that $20 holler button for our boy Troy.
Alert. Super chat alert.
We may go away from this thing, this whole $20 hauler thing. You know, we need to mix it up because it's getting. Maybe we do some kind of. I don't know if we can do it. How late we can do it because Miss Smitty will be sleeping. But we do have a bell. We do have a bell. Do you guys know we have a bell? It gives headaches. It's crazy.
Mashed potatoes. Yeah, buddy.
It already gave me a headache. I don't know if I can do the bell. I want to come up with something new. We've been doing this thing for a while, and I want to do something different than the $20 hauler. If anybody has ideas, let me know. There's got to be something else we can do. You know? Let's see. Bijan, Pollard, Swift, McKinnon. Bijan, Pollard, Swift, McKinnon. Pollard, Swift, McKinnon, great running backs. Ridley, Watson, Dell, Mims, Laporta, Love, Stroud, T-Law. Stay put or make some trades. That's a tough one. Yeah, I've already got like a little migraine coming on. I get migraines pretty easy with these lights. That's why I wear these blue light blocking glasses, and the sunglasses on top of that help. A lot of people always say, "Oh, I got your sunglasses on." They're blue light blocking, and the sunglasses help because there's a lot of lighting going on. I mean, as you guys can see here when you look at this thing. And I turn off some of these, but there's a lot of lighting. You can't really tell because I've dimmed it down, but it does help. And ringing that bell it triggered a migraine. Roman candle, $20 hauler. Light off a Roman candle. They're broke, don't fix it. Somebody dropped Goddard. Pick him up. Let's go back to that super chat. I'm sorry. $20 hauler. Look, you could afford to trade Swift on the high to go get some sort of like Devontae Smith, to go get some sort of Waddle. But you also don't necessarily need it because Watson's going to come on strong and we like Dell. And if you make a move, then you got to sit Dell. So maybe you sit it out a week unless you could trade one of your quarterbacks and put your balls on the line with the other one and make some sort of like Swift upgrade into a player. And I would say Pollard, but you already got him. Maybe a Watson upgrade into a bigger name player like St. Brown or something like that if you dare. That's something that I would strongly consider, but I probably would say your team's more of the kind of team that I want to let sit for a week. Because Christian Watson's going to gain some value. But if you feel like Swift's going to get injured or something and you're just wanting to get rid of him, and I don't know that I feel that way, I'm just saying if you do, then I would definitely shoot for a wide receiver of the liking of an A.J. Brown, a Devonta Smith, a Waddle, someone of that caliber, a Debo and a Hall, a Debo and a free Jahmyr Gibbs right now if the good Jahmyr Gibbs owner is just mad. Charles, you're live. You got 30 seconds, pal.
I have a question I'll shoot. Would you drop Garrett Wilson or Bryce Hall to pick up Mark Andrews?
Bryce Hall. Brees Hall.
Bryce Hall?
Brees Hall. His name's Brees Hall. No, I don't drop Brees Hall. Do you guys want to drop Brees Hall? Who is the other player?
Garrett Wilson.
Come on,
or
Charles. We can't cut any of those guys.
I was just wondering.
I know we can't cut Brees Hall. I don't care if his name's Bryce Hall. We can't cut Bryce Hall, Brees Hall. We can't cut Garrett Wilson. I'm frustrated. I'm frustrated.
What's your opinion on Mims Jr.?
Who?
Mims Jr.
Oh, I like him. And this week he's a good play because the Bears have like their entire defensive backfield down and out, bro. They're totally down and out. So Mims is a good play. Cortland Sutton's actually a good play. Russell Wilson's actually a good play. Javonte Williams is a good play. Chicago could get worked over. Now, I do believe that I do truly believe that we're going to see a potential bounce back game for Fields, but if they're getting worked over very quickly because that defensive backfield is hurt, then we start seeing desperation throws and we start feeling what we felt with Fields where like they're so down that it just feels like the game script isn't even good for a comeback. The game script is just chaos and 3-and-outs and interceptions. And so there is a big concern of this game getting out of hand because of how bad and banged up that Chicago defense is. But Mims is a good pickup, a good guy to grab. But, bro, you can't cut Garrett Wilson and Brees Hall. That would be like astronomically what's the best way to put it? The most gross overreaction move of the year. Like either one of those guys, like you cannot do that. Garrett Wilson has 2 touchdowns in 3 games. Almost had 5. He almost had 2 extra touchdowns last week. He has a crappy quarterback and a maybe crappier coach right now, who I really liked walking into the season. But his inability to recognize the situation is just head scratching. And I just hope they bring in a Wentz. I honestly think this Colin Kaepernick stuff. Everybody's laughing about it, but Colin Kaepernick is twice the quarterback that Wilson is. Even without, I mean, honestly, just watching him throw the ball in his little tryouts, I can tell you Zach Wilson looks like garbage compared to him. And so they need to do something. Cam Newton's sitting out there. Everybody can laugh at that as well. But what's worse is Zach Wilson. Like, laugh at that. That's easier to laugh at than Cam Newton suiting up for the New York Jets. I'm in almost awe of Salah's lack of understanding of this situation. And I'm almost in awe of how there's nobody else applying enough pressure to get him to move off of Zach Wilson. How in the hell is this man able?
Uncle Rico.
You what?
Sign Uncle Rico. It'd be good.
Sign anybody, bro. Anybody.
All
right. Hey, yeah, don't cut him, Charles. Who is the guy you were picking up, Laporta?
No, Mark Andrews.
Mark Andrews. Why is Mark Andrews released? I was meaning to get to that point. That was ridiculous as well. Mark Andrews released? What kind of league is this, bro?
The grandma league.
Okay, but hey, it's a grandma league. But Charles, please don't get mad at me. You know I love you, pal. It's just okay. Coach Smitty speaking. But you almost made a grandma move. Like Andrews is released, and you're about to release Breece Hall. It's all the same, bro. You can't do that. Now, granted, your benches might be really small, but you telling me Breece Hall and Garrett Wilson are your worst players? Like, tell me 3 other players in your team that are at the bottom. They cannot be your worst players.
All right. Thanks, Manny. Appreciate it.
No, I'm asking you, who are your worst 3 players?
Connor Williams. All the rest are studs. I may have a.
Okay. Maybe you do. Maybe it is a 4-man league, Charles. All right. Appreciate you, Charles. Later. All right. Ethan, hang tight. I gotta get to these super chats. So mute yourself, please. No mouth breathing. $50 hauler from Andrew, who's been sitting patiently.
Alert. Super chat alert.
Andrew, appreciate you, my guy, coming in with a $20 hauler. I apologize for the wait. I got Fields, CD, Keenan Allen, Bijan, Kamara, Khalil Herbert, Kendre Miller, Roshan, Dotson, and Dobbs just got an offer for Kamara. AR5 and Brian Robinson for Kamara. You got Fields, though. Fields is your only other quarterback. I don't know. That concerns me a little bit, bro. I'd almost rather have AR5 and Brian Robinson and figure out a way to trade Brian Robinson and in something else. Oh, you have Kamara. You have Kamara. I see. So you're getting AR5. Yeah, I probably would do. It's so weird. Being on the flip side makes me even hesitate too, though, because there's implications for the lineup being better. And the problem is, can you somehow get AR5 without giving up Alvin Kamara, bro? Can you give up Dobbs, who had a great game, with a potential? You don't have anything else, though. I mean, Roshan's probably not going to get it done at all. What wide receivers does he have, bro? Can you somehow, some way trade your Keenan Allen for a very equal but struggling player? Like, maybe he'll trade Ridley to you as a player lower than Keenan Allen. Maybe Ridley instead of CD, and then you get the potential... the potential QB upgrade. I don't know. I don't think Dobbs or Roshan's going to get you AR5 for Fields if you were to do that swap, which is what I meant to say a second ago if my words were all jargoned up. I would say Jameson's got some attractive appeal right now, but I don't know that that's going to get you AR5. I assume AR5 is the guy's second quarterback, so maybe he would be willing to do it, but I would look at his wide receivers. I'm not saying I wouldn't take AR5. I think he's definitely going to score more points than Fields at this point, but I don't know if that move is going to leave this team right here too depleted, to where I don't know that you can win. I think you've got to try and get in a creative place where you downgrade one of the wide receivers perception-wise into a receiver you don't really feel is a downgrade, like into a Debo. If he's got a Debo, if you're trading Keenan Allen into Debo and getting AR5 and you throw him back Jameson Williams, that's a league-winning potential move for you. I don't think just getting rid of Kamara is going to help. Someone offered me Puka, Achane, and Pierce for JT. I would rather have JT and Dotson at this point. And you're 0-3, I know you want to make a move, but I don't know that this is the move to make. I would rather bank on JT. I think you waited this long. You're the type of owner we're trying to go get that JT Kamara from that's waited too long. They're 0-3, and they feel like they got to do something different. This is not working. Now, Kamara's coming back this week, so those owners are probably less likely to do it. But I would definitely say that you're much more likely to get JT from that owner that doesn't want to wait one more week. The JT owner like you, so I'm speaking to everybody else, the JT owner like, who was it? This has dropped this super chat. The JT owner like Dylan is 0-3 and the plan didn't look like it worked. He's freaking out. So anybody else that wants to go get JT, go find the JT owner, see if they're 1 win or 0 wins right now in the standings. And they're vulnerable. They're just looking to get any sort of win right now. Young with the $2 trade me Barkley. Trade me Barkley, Kincaid to get Andrews and Pierce. I guess I would take Andrews and Pierce if you felt like, I don't know, bro. Barkley, I feel like Barkley should get you more, Young. I'm going to say try and get more out of Barkley. I like Pierce, but I don't know what's in store for him. If he ends up like crap in the bed here this week and there's no point of, there's a point of no return for him, then it's Andrews for Barkley. And at that point, you're getting worked over. I would try and get more. Get somebody better than Pierce. I don't know what else he has, but I feel like there's got to be more. Gibbs for Pierce straight up. I'd rather hang on to Gibbs than... I'd rather have Gibbs. I know that right now, coming off of this game, everybody's really upset about him, and no one's willing to wait on him, but at that cost, I'd be willing to wait on him. Chubb says, trade Kamara for Brees. I would rather have Kamara by a mile at this point until Brees gets on his horse. We don't know when that will be, but I do also want to preface that Brees' production's been going up and climbing. His workload, his percentage of carries, Dalvin Cook looks horrible, and so Brees Hall will be given more work going forward. Trade Kamara for Brees, no. DJ Moore for Laporta. I'm okay with Laporta, bro. That either side on that one, but I do like the Laporta. Let's go over to negative Ethan. You got 30 seconds, bro.
Smitty, we all want more competent QB play for Garrett Wilson and Mr. 9 feet tall. But thinking about it from an owner's standpoint, and these fans, saying, oh, we want Rodgers back for the playoffs, I say, you want to talk about playoffs? They just want to win a game. So, I mean, I say you go the Colts route, you bring in Simeon, look like you're trying, and you go with Rodgers next year. So that's my take.
Well, but the problem is these players are upset. The morale is low. You're just going to get everybody injured. You know what I mean? Like, you can't just say, let's just keep getting clobbered and let the offensive line get injured and let the players like Brees Hall and Garrett Wilson get injured. When you try and carry the team on your back and you have no competent quarterback play, everybody's going to get hurt, bro. The defense is going to get hurt. The defense is going to get just worn out.
Cobb out there.
So I know what you're saying.
Come back next year.
I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying, and a lot of people have said it. They're going to rush Brees Hall all year or something like that. They're not. They're not. First of all, you can't put someone on the shelf for a year. That's not how athletes work. Like, Brees Hall can't just be put on the shelf for a year and be right back. He needs to play, and otherwise it's gonna be like when you take a hiatus and you leave football and you come back and you're not the same. Like Josh Gordon could never get it back. It's not happening. He's already been out of football for almost a year, recovering the ACL. They just need to go get a quarterback. And I'm not saying they make the playoffs if they do that, but if they do believe in their heart that they can be a playoff team if they got a competent quarterback, I'm not saying they will. I'm just saying if they believe that, then they should go do something about it. And somebody should step in and say, Salah, I'd walk into Salah's office if I was the GM or a decision maker above Salah, and I'd walk in and say, Zach Wilson's no longer starting. And I'd walk away, and if he said, excuse me, I'm the coach, I'd say, you aren't if you don't listen to what I'm saying, because Zach Wilson's not starting. He's going to get everybody injured. But I do believe Brees gets an uptick. Negative Ethan, callback. I appreciate you very much. I got to get to these super chats. Chris from New York, you got 30 seconds, pal. You got 24 seconds, pal. You're probably on mute, pal. Chris from New York, you got 18 seconds.
Sorry, Smitty. Sorry.
You got 16 seconds. Stop saying sorry. Answer the question. Go.
Ford or Davis? Gabriel Davis, Connor, or Ford out of flex?
Connor, Ford, or Connor and Ford and Gabe Davis? Are those all three different players?
Yes, I got to have one of them for a flex.
Okay, just making sure you weren't calling Ford Connor Ford, like thought that was his name. Okay. Connor's
running back Ford.
Connor's got to be the guy, right? I mean, how can you sit him at this point? I think Ford's
San Francisco.
I think Ford is pretty good. He's pretty good. I don't mind playing Ford at all. Ford at all. But
you don't think Gabriel Davis, though, going up against Miami, he could, get a long one? Possibly?
Sure. I mean, bro, these are can I be honest with you? I'm forcing an answer because they're very close. I'm trying to do my best to say what's logic tell me I'm on the clock, or I'm on the, not on the clock, but I'm sitting here in the 11th hour. I'm in the 11th hour here. Who do I start?
Decision.
Connor's absolutely, been bonkers. How do you sit him at this point? But if you went Ford or Gabe Davis, I would not be sending you on a lap. That's my point. I would be like, hey, man, I can understand why. Ford had 2 touchdowns now. His volume wasn't there. The only thing I'd say with Ford is that the volume wasn't there. The touchdowns were. But the volume wasn't quite there, and Hunt's kind of getting work already.
Tennessee too, the best run defense. So
true, but Hunt was getting run right away. So
right,
that's kind of concerning, right? When it's Hunt just got there and he's already getting a big chunk of work. I don't think he's going to take over the job. I think Ford's got to lose it. But that makes me think to myself, I'd rather take Connor here. Matchup.
Yeah, I screwed myself when I played Jones over Montgomery this week real bad. But, they were both hurt.
Yeah. All right, bro. Appreciate you. Trust your gut, though.
Later.
You like Gabe Davis, throw him in. All right. Call your boy. Appreciate you becoming a YouTube exclusive member. If anybody doesn't know where that is, all you got to do is go to the main page of the YouTube channel, of my YouTube channel, and click that join button on desktop or memberships. Or if you're on mobile, it's the same membership button. The join button may be added later, I think YouTube said. But right now, you just click on the membership button, and you can join. You can get priority text or priority YouTube comment replies with the one package, or you can just get the $2.99 package, which is the green name, all the emojis. You're supporting the channel. You become part of the crew, and all that. Ryan, you got 30 seconds too, because I got to get to these super chats. Go.
Super quick one, man. Josh Allen and Pacheco, or Geno and Swift?
Josh Allen and Pacheco. Very easy call for me. There's no way I'm feeling comfortable with Geno right now. And with Swift's injury risk, which we love what we're seeing right now out of Swift, obviously. But with that whole concern mixed with Geno, Josh Allen, even if Pacheco went down, you're still arguably in the mix to win the trade. You know what I mean? So give me Josh Allen all day. And he can carry you week in and week out. He can literally win you a week single-handedly. Don't trade your big quarterback, bro.
Love it. Thanks, Smitty.
All right, later, bro. Those are tough ones though when you get those, because it's he loves Swift so much. But Pacheco's okay. He's pretty decent. And make sure McKinnon isn't available. Checking back if you're. Thank you for the $10 hauler, by the way.
To the moon.
$10 haulers get moonshots, and appreciate you joining the YouTube. Vitros or whoever, just I could barely read in the corner. Welcome to the YouTube exclusive membership. Appreciate you joining. We try and shout out everybody that joins, so thank you very much. Appreciate you, my guy. Welcome to the Green Name Club. Call your boy. Appreciate you. Checking back in for your start 2 decision in my flex. From Henry, Connor, Achan. Couldn't trade Henry. I tried, but I have an offer for Connor to get Flowers in London. I don't know that I trade Connor for Flowers in London. Chat, do you disagree or agree? I think that'd be selling Connor a little low, because he's a running back in a horrible running back climate, my guy. So I would probably, if I'm you, I'm still getting all these super chats, guys. Don't think I missed you. I'm going through them as fast as I can, trying to take some phone calls. But yeah, I would say keep trying to trade, obviously. But if I'm you, I'm probably going to try and. You can't trade Achan on the high. I don't think anybody's going to buy him for what I think he could be worth. Connor's the only guy you could sell high. Connor should get you like a Devonta Smith, bro. Underrated Devonta Smith, or a freaking Debo. Honestly, Connor deserves that. In the climate of running back disaster that we're looking at right now, there's no way you shouldn't be asking for a Ridley that people are I have people asking me every day, should I bench Ridley? Should I bench Ridley or should I start him as my flex right now? I'm telling you, Ridley, Devonta Smith, Debo, being that he's banged up already, people are concerned about that. Or Waddle coming off of a concussion and he's been absent and he didn't really play to his level of expectation anyway. There's no way you can't get one of those guys unless the league just doesn't trade. 217 becoming a YouTube exclusive member. Appreciate you, 217. So as far as the start this week, I guess I would tell you Henry and Connor, but I still don't know that I'm ready to fully lock in Connor over Achane. Like, I know you're asking me now. I might need to be asked again tomorrow. But let's ask the group. Are we going Connor or Achane? Achane or Connor? Please let me know what you think. The Niners, it's a tough matchup, but you know, we saw what happened last time. So, not too sure that I'm going to be let's see here. Yeah, not too sure I'm going to be using the matchups as much of a determination. Because we said this last time. That, the Niners, they're going to crush Kyron Williams and Puka are going to be held in check. And they didn't. And I know the Niners are playing great right now. But we can't use matchups anymore. Henry for me. Achane, Rookie of the Year, says Oscar. Achane. You get a lot of Achane votes. I don't know. I kind of want to say Achane too, bro. I just think, how do you sit Connor after Kyron tore up the Niners, Kyron was phenomenal. Puka was phenomenal. Can you come back to me on the Connor? Let's start Henry. I think you got to give him the road to Henry just because. But I'm starting to lean more toward Achane. The chat's even swaying me. I'm getting excited about him. He could just crap the bed. He could crap the bed. Everybody needs to be very patient with Achane. If Achane goes back to getting a little less work than we want, understand the situation he's in. Hey, Bud, can you turn down the background noise? And so you just gotta be patient with Achane. Nobody should be running away from this man if he doesn't deliver this week. He's in the most potent offense in the NFL, and he's behind two extremely injured running backs. And he did what he did with Mostert in the lineup. So really, Wilson and Mostert, only one of them has to go down for Achane to be getting 12, 13 carries a game. That's all he needs. You don't want him getting more than that, and he will guarantee get that kind of workload if one of those RBs go down. If he hasn't already, replaced Wilson, which maybe Miami Mike's going to be, nostalgic. Bud, you're making a lot of noise. Let's get you off the line. You got 30 seconds. Good God, Bud.
Really? Are you sure?
Bud, I'll start you over. Bud, you got 25 seconds. Go.
Non-PPR.
It's getting sensitive.
Addison, Wilson, Myers.
I'd probably go with Addison as the safe play, but is Garrett Wilson a little higher risk, higher reward? Probably, but I think I go Addison. I go Addison until we see the Jets offense come to life a little bit. I think the Jets run comes to life before the Jets pass. So, yeah, go ahead with your second one. Yeah, hurry up.
Ready? Stevenson. Or let's see. Or Kamara.
Kamara. Stevenson. I mean, there's people panicking on Stevenson for good reason. I think he could. Look, I shouldn't say it with the authority that I did. Kamara. Like there's no shot for Stevenson to go have 3 touchdowns. Yeah. I will
one more. Palmer or Flowers? Non-PPR.
Palmer or Flowers? I'm going Flowers, bro. We don't know what Palmer is doing yet.
Appreciate it, brother.
Yeah, appreciate you, pal. Later.
All right. See you.
All right. Let's see here. We've got Arian Foster was a good receiving running back. He certainly was. He certainly was, bro. Achane over London. I go Achane. All right. $20 hauler from Johnny Boy. Johnny, appreciate you coming in with the 20 watt on screen, pal. What a monster you are. I got all these other super chats I'm getting to. Just hang tight. I'm coming through them as fast as I can.
Alert. Super chat alert. Alert. Super chat alert.
12-month membership question. Offer me Mark Andrews for my Rachaad White and Dell. I'd probably take Andrews if you needed the tight end position filled very badly. Arian Foster was amazing. That was probably that was 2010, I think. That was amazing. Smitty, you're the man. I'm starting 3 wide receivers this week. I got Chase, Garrett Wilson, Pickens, Dotson, Collins, Thielen. Who do you like? I'd probably say you got to go with Pickens, Garrett Wilson, and it's between Collins and Thielen. Chat, drop your favorite there. Thielen or Collins? Collins or Thielen? I mean, Thielen's played well, but I don't know that I still like Collins a little bit more, but that's really close. I'd probably go Collins, Johnny. It's a really, really tough one, though. Very, very close call. Superfish coming in strong. Thank you for your super chat, pal. But I do start Garrett Wilson in that scenario. I'm worried about Garrett Wilson, but I still not benching him in that scenario. Non-PPR, trade Kyron for Waddle. I would rather have Waddle, Superfish, and I'm glad you're back. Appreciate you being here. Superfish to the moon. Superfish to the moon. Smitty, you burned out? No, I'm not. I don't really get burned out, bro. I mean, if I get burned out, it's for a night, and I just want to, like, not go live, like, on the graveyard shift. You know, the extra show. That's the only thing that, you know, you just get tired. If you do, like, a 4 or 5 hour show. Like, for example, tonight, depends on how long we go. We got a Nico vote. Pickens or Ridley or Dell. I'd probably go Ridley, then probably it's a tie between Pickens and Dell, bro. But if I had to pick one, I'd say Ridley over the 3. But I love Dell this week. Absolutely love Dell. Dell's a monster. Start 2 to flex out of Ford, Dell, Achane, and Flowers. Dell and Flowers are probably your safest plays in PPR. But you're not crazy to go like Dell and Achane if you want to roll that die pretty risky, like, you know. The dice are meant to be rolled sometimes, and they're sometimes meant to not be rolled. It just depends on your matchup, what's your projection, how close will it be. Flowers should have a steady game. Achane's just got more ceiling and upside, but he's got more risk. Dell needs to be locked in. Elevation. Appreciate your super chat. Thank you very much. Dell over Kamara. I'm not going to sit Kamara. Disrespect on Ridley has gone way too far. I know, bro. It's crazy. It's crazy how many people are like questioning sitting Ridley this week. 521 of you in here. Punch that thumb up button. Appreciate you being here. CD and Garrett Wilson for Saquon and Ayuk. Give me Saquon and Ayuk.
Here you go.
Ziggy off. Give me Saquon and Ayuk, but it's arguable, but that's just the way I would lean. I'm sure the chat would probably be a little torn on it. I don't know how torn on it. The chat can vote if they like on that one. I sat Monty to play Ekeler. Well, I mean, you didn't know if Ekeler was going to play. It was very, very iffy that he was going to play, so that does suck, Mark. I think if you came in here, we probably would have tried to help you on that one, but, I mean, he was practicing, but there was no sign that he was a full go or anything. It was just progressive, you know what I mean? Hopefully, Mark, you got another option out there. I'm sorry, pal. Brian, PPR got Bijan, Gibbs, Roshan, Diggs, Higgins, Dotson, Moore, Quentin Johnston, trade. Mark, if you was that Mark, or was that who was it that had that question? I think it was Mark. Mark, if you got whoever had the Ekeler question, if you got a dilemma, come in here and we'll try and help you out with it. Kamara might go off in his debut, risky, but starting him. He definitely could be hit or miss this week. It's tough to know. I have a feeling they're going to use him. He's going to do well. I think Kamara's going to have a good day. Brian, appreciate you. PPR got Bijan, Gibbs, Roschon, Diggs, Higgins, Dotson, Moore, Quentin Johnson. Trade for running back 2 stash. Gibbs' team has Barkley, JT, Brees, Brian Robinson. Any trades? I mean, I'm trying my best to go get JT. Would I give up Higgins and Gibbs for him? I certainly would. Would I give up DJ Moore and Higgins, which would, suck in some ways, but I would piece it together. I don't think you're going to get him for that though. It depends on if this owner's 0-3, which he might be. Barkley's intriguing in that same value range, Gibbs and Higgins. I definitely worry about Barkley, but I also buy him at the right price if I'm in your situation and you need a running back. But those are the only moves I can imagine him making. I'm not trading anything else. I'm going after maybe another player on another team. Should I trade for Barkley? Funny you just asked that, given I just said what I said. I do believe that in the right light and context, Barkley's a good buy, but he's also a player that if you own, you're worried about. My Dell and Flowers with Pacheco. I would definitely trade that package for Barkley. I'd give up all 3 of those players for Barkley. That is a buy low scenario that is beyond solid. I traded Javonte away straight up to acquire Andrews. I don't mind that at all. I think that's a great one. We feel okay about that buy. Absolutely. That's fine. There's concern with a lot of players right now. There's risk on all sides of all trades, seems right now, bro. That, like, Andrews is a risk, but he's also a great grab. Start 1, Kamara, Cook, Javonte. I think Javonte does have a good day, but I'm going with Kamara. There's no way. James Cook is the steadiest one, the safest play. Javonte should surprise, but James Cook's still a better start than Javonte. And Alvin Kamara is just the higher upside guy. Maybe a tad bit riskier than James Cook, but there's just a better... thank you for the $10 holler here, Kyle. Just Kamara, you can't sit Kamara, I don't think. I think that would be very, very tough to sit Kamara. Yeah, Ekeler's going to sit out this week, and they got a bye week, and then he's back. Hey, Smitty traded away Gibbs and Lamb for Diggs and JT.
Got him.
Nice job, bro. Nice job. I love it. You did great. You did great, bro. You did absolutely amazing. New roster looking solid. Thanks to you, all your infinite wisdom, brother. Thank you. Appreciate you, Kyle. Kyle to the freaking moon.
To the moon.
So I'm talking about Kyle. Kyle is my boy. Michael Vaughn coming in strong. Would you trade Tyreek for Kamara and Ridley? I would probably do that if I need a move. If you're 3-0, about to be 4-0, because you just put it on the owner in Thursday night or something, or they crapped the bed with 3 players or whatever the case may be. Point is, if you're 4-0 and you're looking at your team with Tyreek Hill and you say to yourself, I've got the best team. I'm going to be 4-0, or I'm 3-0 at least now, and I've got the best team. Don't trade Tyreek. Why try and ruin something that's working? But if you are not 3-0 or 2-1 and you say, I don't have the best team, I have a good team, but I don't have the best team, it's a good move. So it's a good value. It's good return. Both of you, nobody's blasting anybody, but if you've got the depth and you're putting like a Pickens or Dell on the bench, to make this happen or whatever, then, you might be not improving your team as much as you think, trading away Tyreek for 2 players, because you might have such a good bench. So you just got to make that determination yourself. You have to do an honest inventory, look in the mirror, and say, can my team win with Tyreek? If you're already winning and you can win it all, then you don't trade them. But that's a great return if you needed to make a move. What about Gibbs and Kincaid for Aaron Jones? I'd take Aaron Jones in a millisecond in the current situation that we're looking at right now with Detroit. Thomas, appreciate your $5 holler. Yo Smitty 10 team PPR 0-3, just acquired Waddle. Wide receivers are Amon-Ra, Waddle. Running backs Gibbs, K9, Flex, Dell, Kyron. Need to win. Trust Fields one more week, or roll with Stroud. That's tough, bro. Are we going with Stroud, or are we going to trust Fields against a very, very nice matchup? The thing is, the nice matchup looks great because of a previous week in contest by another team. And how does it usually go? different than you think. You know, and so I kind of say trust Stroud. Because we think, oh, you know, Miami torched the Broncos, so Fields should go in and just run them, right? Run circles around them. But the problem is their defense is depleted and decimated on the defensive back and safety side of things. And so they could get routed. And then Chicago has no game plan to get back, and they're just screwed up. I'd probably trust Stroud, bro. I'd probably trust Stroud. I just think that it's safer. I love the Waddle move, bro. Fantastic job. Fantastic. Virtuos, appreciate you for becoming a YouTube exclusive. Or Virtues. I appreciate you becoming a exclusive member. Traded Swift, Gainwell, and Roschon for Kupp and Christian Watson. I like that move. It's risky. Swift's playing out of his mind. But I think that move was good. I still have Pollard. I like it. Smitty, approve it. Yeah, Fields is tough, guys. I'm not saying don't play him this week, especially if he's like your best option and you're trying to like go to the waiver wire. But Stroud feels safer. Should I trade away Tank Dell for Garrett Wilson? I don't know. I don't think so. I hate to say that. I hate to say that, and I also don't hate to say that because we love Tank Dell. He's a moon man. They're both moon men. But, I mean, Tank Dell's playing better. I guess I would say I want Dell right now, but I'm still very hopeful that I'm going to regret saying that later. I mean, that's a weird way to give you advice, DPP, but I just feel like if they get a quarterback in there, Garrett Wilson can thrive. And it doesn't have to be a Aaron Rodgers type of player. It could be a Carson Wentz who just can throw the football down the field. I would just say, give me Dell. You know, it's crazy we're there, but we are where we are, and we can't try and will something to happen that's not happening. So hang tight. $10 holler, appreciate you. BJJ coming in strong with the 10 wad. Smitty to the moon, appreciate you. BJJ to the moon, not me. You to the moon, pal. Fields, Geno, Pollard, K9, Gibbs, Javonte, Ridley, Garrett Wilson, Pickens, Flowers, Dotson, Muth, Kincaid. I'm 1-2, bro. What moves are you making or hold and let the team pop off? I mean, I don't know that the quarterback situation feels secure, so I'm trying to work that angle the best I can. And if that means giving up Gibbs or Javonte, or giving up Garrett Wilson to get an AR5, I think this team could use that stability. I think that's what I would focus on doing. I wouldn't trade away Ridley. I wouldn't trade away K9 or Pollard. I would focus on trying to get AR5 in there. And if it's not AR5, I mean, maybe you buy low on T-Law using a smaller piece on the lineup. That's probably the only focus I have for this team right now. I like it. It's a good team. Fields is not horrible right now. He's scored a touchdown in all 3 of his games, passing touchdowns, so it's not like he hasn't, put points up. So don't go ruining your team. Don't get rid of your big name players for a quarterback. I'd rather you risk it a little bit longer and roll with Fields this week, but I'd rather have AR5 if I'm moving a smaller piece around. Smitty, start Jalen Warren or Dameon Pierce this week. Probably Dameon Pierce, but Jalen Warren's time could be coming. I really believe that his workload's going to be increasing by a lot. Trade my Kyren and Ingram for Jacobs? No. I'd rather have Kyren and Ingram over Jacobs right now. Kyren's playing great. Ingram's playing great. I mean, good. Jacobs is playing bad. I don't know. That could be one of those things where in a week, Jacobs' value is either a lot higher again because he goes and balls out. I mean, he's not a bad player to bank on. I mean, what's the chat think? Would you rather have Ingram and Kyren or Jacobs and Ferguson? If you believe in Jacobs, go get him. I just don't necessarily believe in Jacobs. In the flex, full PPR, Thielen, Pickens, or Sutton, I'm going to go Pickens, but Sutton could have a day because he's playing against a beat-up defense in Chicago that's going to give up a whole boatload of targets, yards, and touchdowns potentially. But I would have a tough time sitting Pickens, and I'm certainly not sitting your other two receivers. So I will probably play Pickens, but you're not crazy to go Sutton if you start getting a vibe on Sutton. Kyron's side, start Mims against Denver. Mims is a great start. Corey says start Mims against Denver. You mean Chicago? Yep. Ingram and Kyron. One Jacobs vote by somebody. Okay, Mac, appreciate you coming in strong, Mac. Mark, Ingram over D. Smith. I'm going to take Devontae Smith or Amari Cooper. I would take both wide receivers over Mark Andrews right now. But the tight end advantage is nice. It is. I could get behind the Amari Cooper for Andrews and something, but I'd rather have Devontae Smith over Mark Andrews. And the tight end advantage is nice, but if it comes back to draft value, equivalent draft value, if you think about it, I'm drafting Devontae Smith over Mark Andrews. Maybe you draft Mark Andrews and Amari Cooper closer in value, but right now he's doing so well, Amari Cooper, I venture to say most people would draft him over Mark Andrews. And everybody drafting knows about the positional advantage, but they're still drafting that way for a reason because they just trust that player more. So I'm going to say no on that. $10 hauler here. I think we got a couple 20s. Axe coming in with a $20 hauler, and Rick Moore coming in with a $20 hauler. You guys are absolute monsters.
Alert. Super chat alert.
And this one's out for Rick.
Alert. Super chat alert.
Giving you both your $20 haulers at the same time. Axe says, Smitty, a guy wants to trade me JT for Tank Dell and Pickens. You take JT and you run. Not to say I don't love Dell or Pickens. I love both of them, but JT is a fantastic move for you. Hey, Smitty, your thoughts starting AR5 versus Fields? I agree. Then Bijan Kamara, then played Amon-Ra, St. Brown, plus Addison. 2 flex options. B-Hall, Moore, Dell, Dotson, Gainwell, maybe Spears. I'm going to go with Dell and B-Hall. I don't think the Dotson and Elijah Moore, Gainwell, that's not an intriguing enough option to put B-Hall on the bench. So pretty easy calls for me, but anything can happen, so certainly trust your gut. $10 hauler. Thank you for your $20 haulers, Axe and my boy Rick Moore. Appreciate Rick Moore. Amy, appreciate your $10 hauler. 1-3, 10-person league. 2 running backs, a wide receiver need help. Played Gibbs and Laporta already. Who do you play and try to get? You have Kyron Williams, Monty, Warren, Barkley, Higgins, Pickens, Dell, Thielen. Wow, that's tough. I'd probably say you got to throw Dell in there. Let me look up a couple things too. I'm going to look up some news here real quickly. Higgins is tough to sit. You said you have 2 running backs and a wide receiver. That's all you need. And I'm looking up some news real quick. Hold on. Higgins, Pickens, Dell. I guess I would rank. Let me just check some things on Barkley real quick. I just want to pull up some Barkley news. He's still limited. Barkley limited Thursday. We're a long way from knowing whether Barkley will play Monday night against the Seahawks, but a limited practice to the start of the week is a great sign. We'll continue to monitor his practice status throughout the week, but it's possible we won't know anything until week 4 status, until hours before leading into the game. Matt Breida would be in line to start if Barkley were out. I guess I would say if you can get Breida, do you have Breida here? I don't see you do. You could potentially, Matt sucks, Monty's on the bench there. If you're starting 1 wide receiver and 2 running backs, I'm going to tell you, try and get Breida, and I would probably bank on Kyron and Barkley as your 2 RBs, right? If this is just 1 RB or running back 2 is what you're saying, then I probably would say go Kyron to be safe, but I definitely would go Breda and Barkley combo if you can get him. If not, you might have to go Warren or just totally, risk it given that you started off and you need a big swing anyway and just hope Barkley plays. You could also pick up the third running back on the roster and just throw him in, I guess. But Kyron Williams and Barkley, and your wide receiver is probably going to be, man, that's tough. You got to make a trade too, especially with Monty going off. And I mean, you need to start Monty, but you have potential options if you need to get out of something or upgrade, something. But Pickens, Dell, I mean, I guess I would go. What does the chat think? 2 wide receivers, you can't get them. I mean, you could always go after. Let's see here. You could always go after Brightwell. You could pick up Brightwell if you need to take a swing. I'm just saying you could go Warren, but if you're already down and out and you're worried about, like, you can't even get a big enough swing to win with Warren, I'd go Kyron and I'd go Barkley and I'd pick up Brightwell and I'd hold Brightwell and I'd possibly put him in last second if you got to go Brightwell. And as for the 2 wide receivers, I think you go Higgins and Dell, but Pickens is hard to sit. Dell and Pickens, I could understand that. Higgins coming off a very disappointing week 3, a very disappointing week 1. Joe Burrow's not throwing touchdowns yet, but that could change this week. Burrow's been practicing in full, so that looks good. I'd probably say Higgins and Dell if it was me, but if the chat disagrees, vote. Appreciate you. Need 2 wide receivers. No problem. I got you. So I'd definitely go Kyron, and then I would go Barkley, pick up Brightwell. I mean, Brightwell might get the same amount of work that Jalen Warren gets anyway. You might as well take the chance on Barkley, I guess. But I do like Warren. Eventually, Warren's going to get cooking, so don't cut him. Smitty, Pollard, Dell, AR5, D. Smith for Hawkinson, Swift, and Watson. No. Pollard and AR and D. Smith is worth way more than the Swift-Watson package. No way I'm doing that. Watson will have to pick up Njoku. Watson will have to pick up Njoku or commit off waivers. No, I'm not doing that. Not giving up that Pollard side. That's a really good side. Trade Godwin for Tank Dell. I'd rather have Tank Dell, but I don't know that you got him. I mean, he's still a rookie, could be inconsistent at times, but I'd rather have Tank Dell. I mean, what's Godwin been doing? Smitty, who can I package for Aaron Jones or Connor? I mean, Pickens, Gibbs, D Moore or Pickens and Connor for. I don't think you're gonna get a JT Kamara or better like Pollard, but that's what you would shoot for. Kenny Walker using Connor and Pickens, Connor and D Moore. I don't think you're gonna get that. Aaron Jones. If you're trying to get those, Top Gun, you might be saying trying to get those players. Okay. So if you're trying to get Aaron Jones using Gibbs, Pickens, and Moore, you're not going to get that. You could maybe get James Conner using Gibbs and Pickens, but are you depleting yourself? If that's your bench and you're not worried about it, then go ahead and by all means do it. Take James Conner. But I don't think you could get rid of Pickens, DJ Moore, and Gibbs to get Aaron Jones. If you could, I'd give up all 3 if that's what it takes, bro. Appreciate you with your super chat, Top Gun. I think that's what you meant. And I think Aaron Jones would be tough to get. JT might be harder or easier to get. Just depends on if the owner of JT's 0-3. Kirk or McLaurin in the flex. I'd probably go Kirk. He's just a little bit safer, but it's such a tough call. Trust your gut because McLaurin could have that game at any moment. He usually does that. He'll have bad games and he'll come out and have the 100-yard and 1 touchdown game. Full PPR flex, 1 Javonte or Dell. I'm going to go Dell. I don't think you can go against Dell right now. Stroud's playing well. I think Javonte does have a very nice game, though. I do think he has a very, very good game. Chase, Kamara for Walker, ETN. I'd rather have Chase and Kamara by, I don't want to say a ton, but enough that I wouldn't even contemplate trading Chase and Kamara. It's a really good, both sides are really, really good, but I just couldn't get rid of Jamar Chase. Guy in my league sent Swift. Thank you, Overcome. Guy in my league sent Swift and Watson for just Pollard. I'd rather have Pollard. I have Walker as my other running back. I'd rather have Pollard. Watson could get there, and I could live to regret this, but Pollard's the better player. And I'm just going to take the better player in these situations where there's some ambiguity on the other side still. There's still some ambiguity with Swift. I love Swift. Swift's doing amazing, and he's doing everything we hoped he would do. Smitty just got Diggs, Gibbs for Devon. You're talking about Achane, right? So you got Diggs, Gibbs for Achane, Pacheco, and AR5 already have Burrow. I don't mind that move. Yeah, I don't mind that move, getting Diggs and Gibbs and Diggs for Achane, Pacheco, and AR5. That is a fantastic move. Definitely got him on that one. Definitely.
Got him.
I mean, Diggs is a great get for you, and especially given you're using, a bench quarterback. I do worry about Burrow. I'm not saying you can't get left at the altar with Burrow with this injury, but I think you made a good move for given that you're struggling who to start anyway. Smitty, the GOAT, appreciate you. You're the GOAT, Tyler, not me. You are. Appreciate you. Squad is Hurts, Pollard, Kyron, Achane, Gibbs, Debo, D. Smith, Dell, Williams. Anything you see. Running back 2. Kyron's a good running back 2. Would I rather you get into a Kenneth Walker? I mean, sure. But Kyron's pretty damn good. And I don't know that you need to go. We got our buy list over here. And if we go to our buy list and we take a look at this bad boy, would I rather turn Kyron into a JT? Yes. Would I rather turn Kyron into an Aaron Jones? Maybe. But Kyron's debatable, to be honest. Would I rather turn Kyron into Ekeler if you can weather the storm? Bijan, absolutely. So going back to the team, I'd say if you could get like Ekeler, who's disappointing his owners greatly this week, if you could get Ekeler using Kyron and not Debo or Devontae Smith, but maybe I don't know if you got like a Nico Collins. Would I use Kyron and Dell to get Ekeler? That's debatable, to be honest, because of the amount of time you're going to be without Ekeler. But remember, everybody's got a bye week. So the 2 weeks Ekeler is going to be out, you got to look at it like 1 week. You can't look at it like 2 weeks necessarily. He's going to come back bye week free. And so I would do that for Ekeler. That would be a very, very good trade. I might even have a Go Get Ekeler video here, independent video on going and getting Ekeler and why it makes sense. And why to, not let that 2 week window influence you when everybody's going to have a bye week. Trade my K9 Ford and Myers to go get Ekeler and Higgins. Absolutely would consider that trade. Yes. If you can weather through waiting on Ekeler. I love K9. Ford's playing good. I don't know. Ford's good. He could lose his job, though. He could lose his job if he gets injured or plays very badly, but it's not going to be taken from him easily because he's scoring, he's productive, they like him. But Hunt did get an odd amount of carries his first game back, or at least the divide of the workload, because they didn't run the ball a ton. But would anybody rather have K9, Ford, and Myers or Ekeler and Higgins? I would just, if you can weather the storm, I'd rather have Ekeler and Higgins. I think it's pretty close, though. It's very arguable. $5 holler from Matthew. Matthew, appreciate you. Would you trade Andrews, DJ Moore, Addison for Henry, Garrett Wilson? Andrews, DJ Moore, Addison for Henry, Garrett. I'd take Henry, Garrett Wilson. Then I'm trying to flip Henry, though. But you're banking on Henry, and Henry's definitely a potential sinking ship. But he could also float up a little bit after this week. He did this last year where he struggled for a string of games and he just started popping off. The offense is horrible, though. I still think it's worth the risk, though. Addison, DJ Moore, and Andrews is pretty decent, but Henry and Garrett Wilson, I don't know. I would lean toward the Henry Garrett Wilson side, but I would be shopping Henry all week. But that's a really close one. Guys, we're going to get into an underdog draft right now, and I'll answer super chats as they come in order in which they're received. But we're going to get into an underdog fantasy draft right this very second. And let me put this on screen here, and we'll draft here shortly. Hit this link right here if you want to be a part of the draft. Underdog Fantasy, promo code Smitty. The link has been pinned in the live chat, or will be right this very second. I'm pinning it again if I hadn't already. There's the link pinned in the live chat. Underdog Fantasy, promo code Smitty. Smitty will get you up to $500 bonus match on your first deposit. $500 bonus match. $500 bonus match on your first deposit. Doubled up to 500. So that means if you deposit $10, they'll give you 10. They're not going to give you 500 if you do a 10. But if you deposit $100, they'll give you 100. If you deposit 500, they'll give you 500. Double your first deposit up to $500. This will last until October 4th. So please take advantage of this $500 bonus match offer. Hit that link right now that I've dropped in the live chat. The code is Smitty. The link inserts code Smitty for you. And we're going to be drafting here in just a second. And what are we drafting in? Lego coming in with a 20 wad.
Alert. Super chat alert.
Lego coming in with a 20 watt. Lego, appreciate you. Good evening. Lego is a monster. An absolute straight monster. We're going to be going over to click the draft tab at the bottom. And we're going to swipe on over to the Resurrection draft. Best Ball Resurrection. Okay, I'm not clicking it yet. It's $300K in prizes. It's week 6 through 17. Right? Let me click on it. Don't hit enter yet. It's week 6 through 17. So week 17 is the championship. See right here? So week 6 through 14 is the regular season qualifying round. So basically, I believe probably out of the 12 people you're drafting with, so if we all draft together, I believe probably the top 2, I'm not sure unless I click on the rules, you have to look into it. Usually the top 2 teams after week 14 of the 12 of you advance to the week 15 qualifying. You get thrown into another group of 12. The top 2 or 1 of that advance to week 16, and so on until you get to week 17 when the remaining like 200, 300, 100, 500, however they do it, the remaining couple hundred of you all fight out in that final week for who scores the most points. But the beautiful part about this is that if you've had a bad year, you don't have to account for anything weeks 1 through 5. And this is not a set your lineup league. Ad drops are not a part of it. It's literally you draft. And you got to draft strategically with the bench and everything. The bench is right here. It's 1 QB, 3 wide receivers, 2 running backs, 2 tight ends, etc., etc. Click the green enter button now and join this draft with me. If you miss out, join the next draft with me. Or join the next time. We'll do a bunch of them. So 6 spots are open. Underdog Fantasy promo code Smitty. Again, Underdog will match up to $500 on your first deposit until October 4th. So make sure you jump in now. Click that link that's pinned in the live chat, and let's get to drafting a fresh week 6 through 17 contest where nothing matters weeks 1 through 5. Hey Smitty, I'm 1-2, 10-man PPR, 2 flex, not super flex. Hurts, Anthony Richardson, Bijan, Cook, Hall, Achane, Sharby, Spears, Lamb, Dell, Godwin, Palmer. Trade lineup advice. Obviously I'm going with Hurts, but you have a nice trade piece in. I got the 2 pick. You got a nice trade piece in A. Richardson, but you might need to wait a week. James Cook is fine. Breece Hall, Achane, you got a good running stable. Would I trade Anthony Richardson for a Devontae Smith? For a Waddle, for a Debo, for a Ridley? I think that's your way into glory, and you bank on this rotation of RBs you have because you got home run hitters there. So I would work on that wide receiver room, not the running backs. The running backs are in shambles anyway, and that would lead you potentially to victory. Now, I have a dilemma on my hands here, ladies and gentlemen. If we draft here, I'd love to see what the ADP is. You know what's interesting, and I'm not going to draft him, but Ekeler is going to be bye week free. If this is week 6 through 17, his bye week is in week 5. Ekeler is a fantastic player to have in this format because he'll be bye week free. So that's kind of interesting. But it's really JJ or CMC you can't really draft, or Tyreek Hill. You can't really draft anybody else if you've got the option. But if I was drafting at like the 3 or 4 pick, I might be contemplating Ekeler coming out with no bye week. $5 hauler here from Oliver. Ayuk Pitts for Waddle Kincaid. I'd rather have Waddle and Kincaid by quite a bit. Does Waddle take my team to the next level? It definitely does, Oliver. I believe so. It went Tyreek Hill first. Man, do I go JJ or do I go CMC, guys? I'm not going to have time to even read the chat in time because of the YouTube delay. I'll probably roll with CMC because the running backs are in shambles. So we'll go to the view there, the view. But yes, that team takes you to the moon.
To the moon.
Broski. That trade takes you to the moon. I like it, Oliver. Go get Waddle. Go get Waddle, my guy. Go get Waddle, my man. My broski. Rob coming in with a 20.
Alert. Super chat alert.
Rob, appreciate you. So Tyreek Hill and McCaffrey are the first 2 picks. Justin Jefferson's the 3rd pick. Robbie, boy, coming in strong with a 20. 12-team PPR, 3 wide receivers, 2 running backs, a flex, 2 and 1. The move is the move trade running back for wide receiver upgrade suggestions. Tua, Russ, Lamb, Devontae Smith, Dell. You got good wide receivers. London, Jacobs, okay. K9, James Conner, Henry, JT. Wow, you got good running backs too, but you got a flex, so you can start all 3 of like any one of these. Yeah, I'm trading Conner or Henry. I'm keeping JT and K9. And I'm trading Conner or Henry to go get Ridley on the cheap, Debo, Waddle. If we look at the buy list right here, so far in the draft, it went Tyreek, Christian McCaffrey. This is not go forward. It's go forward, but from week 6 on. Like week 4 doesn't matter, week 5 doesn't matter. It's week 6 through 17. Resurrection. So do not draft for week 4. Don't draft for week 4. Don't draft for week 5. This is week 6 through 17. So that's why Ekeler is such an interesting pick. And he hasn't even gone until Golfer took him at 10. Interesting that he fell without the bye week. I mean, it's a good play. So let's look at the buys, bro. Let's take a look at the buys real quick. These are the buys of the week. Devontae Smith, Waddle, Cooper Kupp will be interesting for you as well using Connor. Connor for Kupp. Maybe they can't wait on Kupp, bro. Maybe they're 0-3. Connor for Watson and like an Achane combination, is the only thing I would even contemplate. It'd have to be Christian Watson's not enough probably for Connor. But those are all moves that I would make, and I think they're all doable and attainable for you. And you should be able to get yourself, using Connor in this running back climate, you should be able to get a wide receiver like Ridley or Smith or Waddle or Kupp. I really believe you can for Connor. And if you got to trade a little piece with it, it depends what it is. But trade away Burrow for AR5. I would take AR5 right now if it was me. And that's no knock on Burrow, but that's just safer. Trade Olave and Javonte for Ekeler. Probably not unless you are 3-0 and you really believe this move is the only way to set you apart. Olave's like in there right now. Olave could hang with Ekeler in scoring. So I'd probably say no on that one, but I would be open-minded to it if you felt like it made your team the league winner and you're looking at your team now and you're like, I need the RB. I'm struggling. I got tons of great wide receivers. You got Dell and a bunch of guys fighting to get into your 3rd wide receiver spot. Should I buy low on Burrow for Herbert? No, Herbert's probably safer than Burrow with the cap, bro. You can't make a risky move like that when you got a more secure option going on. I wish I could say differently about Burrow, but Burrow's in that state right now of risky territory still. he's getting better. He's getting more secure. But all right, I'm almost on the clock here. I'd love to see DTR play a week or two. Says Space Ricky. Space Ricky, I appreciate your super chat. Okay, I'm on the clock here. I've got Christian McCaffrey. Do I take Ridley or do I take Debo or do I take a QB here? I think I'm probably going to go in the direction of believing in Ridley and banking on Ridley coming back and being a monster. I know a lot of people are down on Ridley right now. I understand why. I get it. Space Ricky, I appreciate your super chat. My broski, you are the man, the myth, the legend. Space Ricky to the moon. Saquon Barkley just went. And I'm on deck here. I like my start so far. McCaffrey, Ridley. I'd be tempted to draft like all Chargers in one of these. With the bye week out of the way. Who else has a bye week in week 5? All right. We are up. Debo. Seattle's got a bye week in week 5. The Browns have a bye week in week 5. The Bucks. Let's go Debo. So we got McCaffrey, Ridley, and Debo feeling very strong right now. Especially given the running back climate. I got McCaffrey. Especially given I got 2 elite wide receiver ones, in my opinion. Maybe they're not top shelf, top 5, but they're, in my opinion, they're both bottom 6 to 10. Thoughts? 16-team PPR, 0-3, 1 QB. Thank you for the $10 hauler.
To the moon.
My man. My main man. 0-3, 1 QB, 2 running back, 3 wide receiver, 1 tight end. I'm done. I've done 3 trades just this week now. Main pieces now are Love, Fields, Brees, JT, Moss, Warren, Sun God, Watson, Dell, Palmer, Musgrave. It's a 16-teamer, man. That's a really good team in a 16-teamer. I know everyone looking at this might say that's thin, but you're in a 16-team league and you got Sun God, Watson, and Dell. That's a great wide receiver room in a 16-team league. And Love, I think Love will be fine. And Brees and JT and Moss, you're really, really solid, bro. I really like this team in a 16-teamer. I think you did a fantastic job. I think that would suffice in a 14-team. And you got it in a 16-team. So keep the faith. Keep that depth at running back because you never know when it'll become useful. And a guy like Warren or Moss, you could try shopping Moss right now with Christian Watson to upgrade at wide receiver. You could try using maybe Brees Hall and Moss together to a depleted running back team for their one running back like Kamara or something like that, if that's all they had. Or you could risk the biscuit at running back and go get an elite wide receiver using the combination of Brees and Moss to a team that has no running backs but has a Diggs or whatever. And they're like, sure, I'll do the trade. What else do I have? I hear that line a lot. Might as well. Whenever a bad trade's made, might as well. What should I do with Higgins, my other wide receivers, Diggs? I think with Charlie Jones on IR, not that that's the biggest news in the world, but it's pretty significant. It makes Higgins a more likely player to not get like phased out a little bit because of his bad play lately. And not to mention Burrow's been hobbled, so I kind of like Higgins more than I hate him right now, but I definitely would shop him if I could. Trade Derrick Henry for JT, says Mark in the chat. I would take JT in a millisecond, Mark. There's pros and cons, obviously. Kamara, Mostert, flex. Bro, that could backfire, Corey. I mean, who the hell knows? How do you sit Mostert off that game? But how do you sit Kamara? I would say I lean Kamara, but I'm trying my darnest to get both them into my freaking lineup somehow, some way, even if I've got to trade. Because how do you sit Mostert? Or you're trading Mostert for a wide receiver that you're plenty happy if it works out for the other owner and Mostert continues to do well, even if it's for 4 weeks only and gets hurt. Like, you're okay because you got Devonta Smith. You're okay because you got A.J. Brown. You're okay because you got Ridley. You know, you're okay because you got an upgrade from your bad quarterback into a Josh Allen. Thank you, bro. Appreciate you more than you appreciate me. I promise you. Thank you. All right, almost on the clock here. If you guys missed this draft, just click the link that's in the live chat. Underdog will match up to $500 on your first deposit. They'll double your first deposit up to $500 using the link that's pinned in the live chat and the link that's in the description of every video. And also, you know, you can just use code Smitty. And he says, did super chat earlier, were you talking about Brightwell? If so, he's on waivers. Who do I drop? Yeah, I mean, let's help Amy with this, guys. She's having to maybe play Barkley over. I mean, first of all, let's take a poll in the chat. Would you start Barkley with the risk he doesn't play if you could get Brightwell so you can make that switch, or do you just start Jaylen Warren? I think was the other option, right? So if everybody could please vote on that. God, this is painful to see Gibbs there and not feel like I've got to take him, you know. But I'm going to go with Kamara, who's way down here, and draft Kamara. And now I'm feeling really good about my team. Oh my God, that feels great. McCaffrey, Kamara, Ridley, Debo. That feels really solid. That feels really good. So can we vote in the chat? One vote for Warren. Another vote for Warren. Another vote for Warren. I mean, Amy, the chat so far is saying to just start Jaylen Warren and don't risk it. Barkley is probably, like, if I had to guess at this moment in time, probably 60% going to sit. But that could change with one good report and one day of, you know, looking better and stronger. Anthony Richardson. Do I take Anthony Richardson here? I feel like I'm not going to get the quarterback I want if I wait. But RBs are I mean, I've got 2 RBs. They're thinning, but I still like what I've got here. Pickens. Okay. I'm probably going to go AR here and just go powerhouse combo here. That's a good squad. That's a good squad right there. Yeah, I mean, Amy, the chat's saying Warren's safe. Oh no, Smitty, you gonna get a bad grade. I received a D in my draft and I'm going 3-0. Yep. Smitty has CMC and Kamara. I am drooling over this team. This team's fantastic. I'd probably say, Amy, I think Barkley is leaning 60% likely to sit. I read the report from NBC Sports, which I can put on screen right here. So if you hang tight real quick, I'll put it on screen and you could take a look at it for yourself. And make your determination, but I guess I would go Warren. Here's the NBC Sports report on Saquon Barkley. And we'll look at it together. This is the most updated report on Saquon. Barkley ankle was limited in Thursday's practice. We're a long way from knowing whether or not Barkley will play on Monday night. So he's got a lot of time. He's got the extra day. It's tough. I mean, Warren's probably safest, I guess, at this point. Because even if he plays, is he limited? I don't know. It's a tough call. I mean, you're running the risk of really missing a Barkley start, but at the same time, it's like Brightwell's, I don't know. Jaylen Warren's kind of an intriguing play. I would say if this was like a really, really like desperation bench play, I would take the risk and pick up Brightwell. But because I do believe Jaylen Warren's knocking on the door of getting a lot more work and becoming a really nice a flex option and maybe more, maybe you just roll the dice with Jaylen Warren and don't make any weird drops, because it'd be hard for you to drop anybody anyways. So sorry about the back and forth on it. Oh God, am I on the clock yet? Oh, okay. And Monty was a nice deal there. Look at Monty. Jahmyr Gibbs went at 5.5-ish or whatever. $10 hauler from Picks. Appreciate you, Picks, dropping the $10 hauler. Would you sell Saquon high? High ankle sprains linger. Yeah, I mean, they do. That's another reason why we're saying to Amy, like, just play it safe. Play it safe with Warren. I'm going to change my tune and say play it safe with Warren. Linger 3-0. Hold him. I would definitely trade him. I would trade him. I've been saying trade him all week. I'm gonna continue to say go get JT, give up more. Go get a cross position in a climate where running backs are decimated, right? So you can get Devontae Smith, Ridley, Waddle, Debo, Cooper Kupp, all of those players I would strongly consider trading Barkley for. If you do it for Kupp, you probably want to get more though. But those are all definitely good options. I think I'd stray away from the Kupp one a little bit more than the other ones because you don't know the outcomes. You're unsure what's going to happen. But okay, so I'm on the clock here in a couple seconds. Look at Najee. Najee's still available. No one wants to draft Najee. That's unbelievable. London, it looks so different than before, doesn't it? It looks so crazy. Waller's still there. I'm on the clock. It really thinned out pretty quickly. This is a little disappointing that a couple guys didn't fall that I wanted to fall. I'm going to time out. I'm going to take a gamble on Najee just this late. I hate Najee. I can't believe I just drafted Najee Harris. But part of me thinks if I grab Jaylen Warren as well in best ball, maybe I would draft Najee in best ball more than I would draft him in redraft. You know, because I don't want him in redraft. I think he's going to be extremely disappointing, but will he have a couple big games maybe? I don't know. This late, we're talking almost 7th round. It felt like an okay move. As far as like other players to grab here, I'm probably going to lean toward the wide receiver right here and say London's high risk, high reward. I just don't know if this ADP's off or anything. I'm sure it's pretty accurate because it's updated like every 2 days. I guess I would go. I guess I'm going to go with Drake London here and just predict a little bit of a nice increase in production and play. So feel pretty good about that team so far. Can you read the rest of my super chat? Sorry, Picks, if I missed something on it. Let me get that here. 3-0, hold him, and he gets hurt. I have Gibbs and Miles. Gibbs scares me like Swift last year. Was offered Mixon. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see that part. Mixon. I would probably say, bro, I don't think Mixon's enough. I'd rather have Barkley than Mixon. I'd rather go get a wide receiver, Picks. I'd rather go get an elite wide receiver like Ridley, Waddle, Debo. I'd obviously rather have, I don't know if you have JT or not. I forget if you said you did. You don't have JT. I'd be tempted to trade like Miles Sanders and Barkley for JT. Something along those lines. But I definitely trade him. Here's that buy list. I definitely trade Barkley for any of these wide receivers that we pointed out earlier. Obviously JT as a running back, give up more. But straight up, Ridley, Smith, Waddle, Kupp maybe and something. I don't know if you can trade Barkley and Gibbs or Barkley and something to get Bijan on the low, because people are freaking out about Bijan right now. Aaron Jones, somehow. He had a bad game, bro. His owner might be willing to sell him. I'd rather have Aaron Jones than Barkley. And I by quite a bit. Jared with a $2 hauler. Appreciate you, Fields or Dak this week. Oh, guys, are we trusting Dak more than Fields? Can we get a group vote on this one? Jared needs our help, and honestly, I don't freaking know. Thank you, Pix. Appreciate you. I guess the matchup's glorious for Fields, but the problem is matchups sway us in a way that 80% of the time it seems disappoints us. We think, oh, great, the Broncos just got worked over by the Dolphins, and it's going to happen again, right? Fields' bounce back game. But then you look at the Chicago defensive backfield. I mean, they got pretty much everybody out. And so if this game gets out of hand, I don't know. I don't know that we see a really solid game out of Fields, like without any sort of bumps in the road, and he somehow has 2 interceptions and 2 touchdowns. I'm hopeful. Fields can bounce back. But I just don't know if Dak's even safer. Fields, because Dallas is going to run Pollard. Fields, Dak or Fields, you gambling man I see. Dak stinks. Dak is bad. Yeah, what's option C, right? I agree. I guess I'd roll the dice with Fields, Jared, but I think the chat agrees. But you're talking about like 2 players that you're hoping one just happens to not crap the bed. The matchup's at least there, and if let's say by some crazy scenario Fields has a close game, he'll probably do well because it's a great matchup. And if he's getting blown out, at least he's throwing the ball a hell of a lot, and running the ball a lot. So I guess I lean Fields at the end of the day. Dax may be safer, but his upside's like a touchdown. Maybe less interceptions or fumbles or something. Like it could go bad for Chicago because I don't know. But Hopkins ain't bad here. I didn't say it was great. It just ain't bad. Damian Pierce. I'm going to bank on Damian. Uh, 10-team Superflex start, 10.5 PPR. Traded Kamara for JMO in Dynasty. I have Jacobs and Henry and a bunch of strong wide receivers thoughts. I don't hate it, but I like Kamara enough this year. If you can't win this year, then it makes sense. But I think Kamara is going to crush him. So it's like a tough call if you can win now. But if this is a future move only, I understand it. I guess I'm going to go Hopkins here in hopes. I got a couple like old dogs that are doing bad. Are not old dogs necessarily, but like players that are completely down and out in Najee in London right now, and Hopkins, and just hope that, and Pierce, and just hope that there's kind of a solid crew. But Anthony Richardson, McCaffrey, Kamara, Najee, Pierce, Ridley, Debo, Drake London, Hopkins feels pretty well-rounded. I feel like I got a good amount of like safety and some what-if players that could bounce back maybe, at least for certain games in best ball where your top scorer advances, into your lineup. But yeah, I don't hate that trade, I suppose, but I definitely feel like Kamara probably doesn't have more than the year left, but he could have 2 years or a year and a half. But I imagine that if you can't win now, you're looking for only future stuff. And Jameson's got a lot of upside for the future. So redraft PPR is Aaron Jones for Dotson and LOL or valid. Aaron Jones crushes Dotson into little pieces, and Aaron Jones just crapped the bed. So yeah, you can't trade Dotson right now or for Dotson using Aaron Jones or expect to get Aaron Jones using Dotson. Either way we look at that, Thomas, I don't know which side you're on, but Aaron Jones is worth triple or quadruple or even more than that than Dotson right now. Dotson's getting dropped. Not that I agree with it necessarily, but he's getting dropped. And even if you look at this, Dotson's available, and we're in round 10. We're breaching round 10, and Dotson's going to be available. So not even close. Don't forget, guys, click this link. Underdog Fantasy promo code Smitty. They'll double your first deposit up to $500 through October 4th. So use that link that's in the live chat pinned. Use code Smitty, which does the same thing as the link. But the link is also in the description of every single video. So Underdog Fantasy promo code Smitty. They'll match up to $500 on your first deposit. Double your first deposit up to $500. Would you say Barkley for Aaron Jones? I would take Aaron Jones. Waddle and Monty. Monty and Waddle are about the same. Depends on your position of need. But I think Monty's earned that Waddle value at this point. Some would say he's worth more than Waddle because he's a running back, and the running back climate is crazy. Watson going here in round 10. Calvin Ridley needs to wake up this week, says Aaron. I believe that is correct. I agree with that 100%. Ryan with a $5 hauler. Ryan, appreciate you. Need team help. Smitty, Fields, Pollard, Ford, Olave, Puka. Let me go back to board view on this. 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, 2 flex moves. Pollard and Ford, Olave and Puka, Hall and I'm starting Richardson over Fields personally, but you do what you need to do. I'm trading Ford and Atwell, Ford and London, Ford and Akers, Ford and Puka. And I'm just taking stabs at JT, taking stabs at Kamara's too late, but that was the player to go get 2 weeks ago. But I'm going after JT. I'm going after ETN. I'm going after Devontae Smith. I'm taking Ford and Puka, and I'm trying to get that bigger player. Maybe Puka and Ford's arguable for Devontae Smith, I guess, to some people. Ridley, I would take Ridley over that. I'd take Diggs. I'd take JT. I would be moving multiple pieces, and I'd be looking at the QB needy team, and maybe if Fields does do well this week, you can trade him next week if you can't get rid of him now. If nobody will buy him now, then you let him have a nice week against Denver. Hopefully he does, and then you can go to the QB needy team and say, hey, here's Fields, and trade Fields away. So Fields and Akers, Fields in London for Devontae Smith. Let's say Devontae Smith struggles again. Your move, Ryan, might be after week number 4, because you might need Fields to do enough to get you trade value. Because if Fields has a 40-point game, I bet you can trade him to the QB needy team that's going to see 40 points and go, okay, he's back. I'll take Fields, and I'll take London, and I'll give you Devontae Smith, who had a bad game again in week 4 or something like that. Like, that's what you got to do. That's the move to make. Start 2-2 over Breece. He's probably safer, but Breece has higher risk, higher reward. Olave and Puka are your starters. Pollard and Ford are your starters. And then, you have a dilemma that really is tough to gauge. I'm going to go Warren here to support my my Najee pick, which I think is smart for me to do. My running back staple is done. I need to stop drafting RBs probably at this point. But to have Najee and Warren, I should be okay for some big games, at least 3 or 4 games that crack my lineup, maybe my flex spot. Kamara and McCaffrey, fantastic. Anthony Richardson, Calvin Ridley, Debo, Drake London, Hopkins, feeling pretty solid. Quarterbacks, I'm tempted to go quarterback, but I think I might wait. Running back, I'm going to pass. Zay's interesting. I don't know if I love these wide receivers enough to force a wide receiver pick here. I may punt all other positions and get my solid backup quarterback, which there aren't a lot of. There's no one even really remotely good at all. I think Purdy's steady, and at least this way I feel competent at backup quarterback in case something happens. Like, Purdy's going to be enough. You know, if Richardson gets hurt running, I'll at least have Purdy there. They have different bye weeks. I should be pretty good on that. So not a bad move, I think, personally. Okay. Yeah. So I would definitely. I mean, as far as these 2 flex spots, you need to start 2 running back, 2 wide receiver, 2 flex. I mean, Hall, Nico, London, Akers, Atwell. I mean, I guess I lean Hall and Nico or Hall and London, but I don't know. Chat, pick 2 out of Hall, Nico, London, Akers, Atwell. Hall, London, Nico, Akers, Atwell. Please vote on picking 2 of these wide receivers. Hall, Nico, London, Akers, Atwell. We need to pick 2 of them for Ryan. Ryan, it's a 50-50. It's like, there's no, every 2 of these guys is 50-50 matchup against each other. This is a crazy call. You're not going to get it right. I'm not going to get it right even 60% of the time, 65% of the time, because this is the definition of 50-50, and you got 5 of them. So I don't know. This one, making a trade would be nice. I don't know how easy it's going to be to trade London and Akers, or Atwell and Nico, or Hall and Nico together, or Ford and Hall, or Ford and Nico, Ford and Akers, Ford and Tutu, Ford and London, Atwell and Hall, Nico and Tutu. Sounds like a cartoon or something. Nico and Tutu, Nico and Atwell, Nico and Tutu, Tutu and Nico, Nico and Hall. Kind of all over the map, but I'd say the majority of people are saying Nico and Tutu. Ryan, I hate to confuse you, but I think groupthink is really nice in these scenarios. I don't think it's bad to ask the audience when they're 50-50 calls, and those are some close ones. We got a $20 hauler from Chris. I got Josh Allen Jacobs. Chris, appreciate your $20 hauler.
Alert. Super chat alert.
Chris to the freaking moon. Chris, appreciate you. $20 hauler, Chris. Hey, Smitty, 12-team PPR. I got Josh Allen, Jacobs, ETN, Amon-Ra, Dell, Kelsey, Achan. Bench is Andrews, Breece Hall. You got a lot of firepower on the bench, my guy. I'm trading Jacobs, and I mean, honestly, you got Kelsey, bro. Jacobs and Andrews for like Ekeler and something. You've got Joshua Kelly, or you sell Joshua Kelly to the Ekeler owner. I'm going and getting. Did I say Akers? I'm going and getting Ekeler. I think I said Ekeler the first time. I'm going and getting Ekeler using Jacobs. You maybe try that straight up, and then you can use Andrews for another like Devontae Smith type of player that you could get in a trade. So try Jacobs. Try Jacobs and something on the bench, bro. Something. Jacobs should be able to get you Ekeler if that owner's like, I'm 0-3 and he's out 2 more straight weeks. I'm going to be 0-5. I have no shot. Here, take Jacobs. Here, you want to do a swap? I'll give you Roshan, or I'll give you Mims. Mims could have a nice week. Here, take Mims. If you got to do some sort of other positional swap somewhere, I'd do it like Dell. if he's giving you something back. But like Dell and Jacobs for Akers could be a league-winning move for you. Go get JT for Jacobs and Dell. And as far as who do you sit, I mean, you got all the right players in. You know, Hall eventually could be tempting over Jacobs. For right now, I think you probably roll with that, I suppose. I don't have a tight end yet. I'm going to go Musgraves in concussion protocol, but is he still in? He's still going to be a good piece. I'm going to grab him. All right. Thank you, Chris. Appreciate you. I think those are all amazing moves for your team. You got all the right people in the lineup. I mean, I'm starting Achane over Breece right now. Just right now. I could live to regret that. I'm telling you right now, there's a risk to that. You got to understand the risk. Breece is so good per touch when he gets the football properly. I don't know who to draft here at wide receiver. I don't know. This is crazy. I'm going to go Parham because he's already at his bye, and I don't like the wide receivers that are left. I'm digging down so deep. And I feel good enough with the wide receivers for now that I'm not like panicking on it. $5 hauler from Ryan. Also got offered St. Brown, Kamara, Thielen for my Pollard Olave. St. Brown, Kamara, Thielen for Pollard Olave. I'd rather have Pollard and Olave, but it's close. I mean, that's definitely very, very, very close, bro. Very close. 10-team PPR. I have Hurts, Swift, Ford, Lamb, Olave, Pacheco, Pitts, Ekeler. Benches, Lockett, Gainwell, Tutu, Tank, Achane, and JT. Love that you have JT coming back. Hurts, Swift, JT eventually. Lamb, Olave. You're really good. Ekeler. There's not much to do here. I mean, the only thing you could do is try and trade Ford and Lamb to get a little bit bump of a wide receiver to like a Diggs. Ford and Lamb. Ford and Lockett for a nice piece somewhere. Yeah, Ford and Lockett for like I mean, really anything near that Debo territory. Ford and Lockett. I don't know if they could get you a. I mean, I'd take a gamble on I'd even take a gamble on a Gibbs with this team. You know, try Lockett and Ford for Kupp. I don't know that you'll land it, but Pacheco and Lockett and Ford for Kupp. I give up all three. I give up Pitts. Maybe they have no tight end. I give up Tutu, Lockett, and Ford for Cooper Kupp. People do crazy stuff, man, when they're 0-3. Other players you could potentially go and get would be Hall or Gibbs using like Tutu and something. Bijan would be interesting for your team if you could somehow acquire Bijan using, let's say, Swift and Lockett and Tutu, using Swift and Ford, and you roll with Pacheco potentially because you got JT coming back. So Swift and Tutu and Lockett for Bijan. I would do that. I think you could do that too. I don't think Bijan's costing what he used to cost. I think it's a very doable trade. Buying Bijan low is doable. 16-man start 2. B-Rob, Herbert, Roshan, Sharps, Dell or London. You got to go Dell, and probably B-Rob and Dell are your safest, and then London's like a higher risk, higher reward play over over Brian Robinson. But Brian Robinson and Dell are probably your safest. Ryan, does the chat agree or disagree? Trash for Kupp. I mean, Rush. I'm not saying that you're wrong necessarily, because I'm not doing Who said it? Was that Rush? Trash for Cup. I mean, I don't do trades where I'm giving somebody an even Steven deal, but I was definitely seeing like Lockett, Fords, and Dells being handed out for Cooper Kupp. I've seen that. That's not crazy to imagine happening. You always want to do a trade that people are like, how the hell did he get that borderline veto material type stuff, bro? I do that. That's what I like to do. I'm not here to make an even trade. I know a lot of people say that. You always want to make an even trade. I always want people to feel like they had a good experience. Not on my trades. I don't try. I'm not here to make even trades. And if you don't scratch your head once a year in your own league, be honest with yourself, guys. Where somebody makes a trade where you're like, what in the hell? What in the hell? Why did he do that trade? You're telling me you're not scratching your head 2-3 times a year in a shark league. I know a lot of you think you're in shark leagues. It just makes us feel better to think we're in a league like that, a baller league. But you're telling me that you're not sitting there going, how did Bob give up that garbage? I don't know if there's any wide receivers left that I even like here. Treylon Burks. I don't ever draft Burks, but let's take him. I mean, we're talking about 15th round. I just need a body. I got a trade request giving up Gibbs for Mostert. I would take Mostert, and then you could turn and flip him though. But Mostert's by far the better running back right now. And then you just flip him. I have an open spot. Should I pick up McKinnon or Bigsby or Pat Freiermuth starting Kincaid as of right now? Maybe Freiermuth's safer, but I think I feel like Bigsby's got that hidden gem talent. So does McKinnon to a degree, but kind of feel like Bigsby's the player I'd rather hold long term, but it's a hold. Trade Connor and Jacoby for DK and Dell. Probably, yeah. Connor deserves some respect, and I hadn't been giving Connor respect all offseason, so I took my lap on that last night. But I still worry about him getting hurt. But I think at that point, DK and Dell, you got to take DK and Dell. Will Smith Sr. with a $5 hauler, 10-team PPR, 2 running back, 2 wide receiver, 1 tight end, 1 flex. Hurts, Henry, Mixon, Ford, Achane, Olave, Evans, Wilson, Dell, Myers, Thielen. Starting who? No trades. So Hurts is your starter, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, 1 flex. So Hurts is your starter. Mixon and Ford for now, but I want Achane in there. Let's see if you can get in your flex. Olave and Evans and probably Dell are your wide receivers and flex. I mean, it's between Dell and Achane, or Dell, Achane, and Ford, but I mean, that's tough. I mean, each week you're going to struggle to make that decision. Ford safer, Achane's higher risk, higher reward. I think Dell's more secure than both of them. So you probably put Dell into your flex spot, and you probably say, okay, this comes down to Ford or Achane. Do I need safety? Go Ford. The touchdowns were there last week, but he is not necessarily getting the volume locked in. You could get a divide there going. So I probably go Achane over Ford, but barely. And that's me. You trust your gut. That's a very close call. Curious what the chat would do, Ford or Achane. I go Achane. Traded J.J. Waddle Pierce for Tyreek DK Stevenson. J.J. Waddle Pierce for Tyreek DK Stevenson. I don't know if you're going to like this, but I'd rather have the J.J. side. Traded DK and Moss. Okay, then traded DK and Moss for Ekeler. Ekeler owner didn't want him. That's a great trade. And you wouldn't have got that if you didn't make the other trade. So at the end of the day, you traded J.J. Waddle and Pierce for Tyreek, Ekeler, and Stevenson. Or you traded J.J. Waddle, Pierce, and Moss, really, for Tyreek, Ekeler, Stevenson. At the end of the day, you did really good. I don't know that I liked the first move, but you turned it into something you wouldn't have turned it into if you didn't do it. So congrats to you. That was an overall good move. Do I bench Garrett Wilson for Tank Dell or DJ Moore? I start Tank Dell. He's been on fire. You can't sit Tank Dell in those scenarios, I feel like it's a no-brainer to put Dell in there. This one here, 3-0, 0.5 PPR, 1 QB, 2 running back, 2 wide receiver, 1 flex. Watson, Bijan, Ford, JJ, Allen, Ingram, Puka, Evans, Addison. Probably trying to upgrade QB. Yeah, JJ and Allen are fantastic. Bijan and Ford are steady. Puka is really good at the flex spot or the wide receiver 3 spot. Ingram, Mike Evans, geez. Probably using Puka while he still has tremendous value to either upgrade Ford, into a Puka and Ford for. I don't think you'll get JT, but you could try. I don't think you'll get Walker, but you could try. I don't think you'll get ETN, but you could try. And you could probably turn Puka or Ford with Watson into a slight quarterback upgrade, I suppose. Addison and Puka and Watson for a big quarterback upgrade. Ford, Puka, and Addison all for a huge running back upgrade. Ekeler is somebody I'm trying to buy. And if I've got to give up Keenan Allen to get Ekeler and something, I would be tempted to do that if you believe in Evans and Puka. And I think those are really good receivers. So, but I want to get more because Eckler's out the next 2 weeks. You should be able to get like an Achane and Ekeler for Keenan Allen. Honestly, you should be able to get something. And if you got to swap wide receivers or something and upgrade your wide receivers, so Puka into a Ridley, Puka into a Devontae Smith, Puka into a Waddle to then downgrade your Keenan Allen into Ekeler, given how Keenan Allen's playing and Eckler's not on the field. But those would be all moves I would contemplate doing. Ryan with the $5 moves in my 16-man league. Joe Burrow. Michael Wilson. I'll take a gamble on Michael Wilson. Moves in my 16-man league: Joe Burrow, Herbie, Brian Robinson, Justin Jefferson, Ridley, Logan Thomas, Dell. 16-man league. I assume this is 2 QB. If it's not, you need to move one of the quarterbacks. That's crazy. Unless that's Herbie the running back. I'm assuming it's Herbie the running back because I don't think you would be holding those 2 quarterbacks in a 16-team league. Let's see here. I need another wide receiver. I was going to time out. I had to grab a quarterback. I just went to the quarterbacks. I grabbed Bryce Young. Probably not a great pick. JJ, Brian Robinson. JJ, Brian Ridley. JJ and Ridley's awesome, bro. Absolutely awesome. Dell in your flex. Unbelievable. So, would I take London or Dell or Jalen Warren, especially after this week, and try and upgrade Brian Robinson slightly? I would try and do that. Brian Robinson, you've got tough running backs, but your receivers are absolutely phenomenal. I assume you're like probably 2-1 or 1-2. I don't think you're 0-3 because you got Burrow might have put you in that position though. That's Khalil Herbert. Maybe Burrow has you 0-3. Brian Robinson in London for one slightly better player. That's all I'm going to try and do unless I'm upgrading Joe Burrow into like a Hurts or something like that. If you want to bank on Roshan and Herbie and Warren and Sharps as your RBs in a 16-teamer, I don't even find that crazy because this is a 16-teamer. So if you could upgrade Burrow into like using Brian Robinson, and maybe you can in a 16-team league, get like a Hurts or something for Joe Burrow. Might be tempting using Brian Robinson and then just bank on Warren getting some work. Past that, it's trying to upgrade B-Rob using London or Sharps or Warren, and you might just have to wait a week. Ken with a $20 hauler. My boy Ken coming in strong.
Alert. Super chat alert.
Ken, appreciate you. You asked me to bring my question back up today. I was offered Gibbs for my Achane. Take the deal. I made a decision to keep Achane right now, but still haven't accepted the trade. Still would like to know your thoughts. I mean, bro, we could come out of this week feeling the same way about Achane that we feel about Gibbs. Like, they're not using Achane now. And that could happen. That could happen, and that's what I warn people about. But I think at this point, I'd probably take the chance on Achane over Gibbs, given what we saw happen. So, I guess I would say, chat, vote on this one. Gibbs or Achane moving forward. I mean, the thing about it is Achane exploded. I know everyone's worried about him going back to the bench, but he exploded. He had one of the best running back games we've ever seen in the history of football. It's a top 10 running back performance. And Gibbs has not done any of that. And it's not his fault, but he hasn't done it yet. So Achane's done it. So I'm tempted to say Achane is just, it's risky, but so is keeping Gibbs. So I guess I'd say give me Achane. We got one vote for Achane. Vote in the chat, please. Achane across the board. There you go, Ken Miller. Appreciate you. It sucks that we're there, but look, Achane's impressive. He's not a guy that just came out of nowhere for us. We love him. Moves in a 16-team league. Oh, Ryan, appreciate you. I just got to that one. Okay. Young with a super chat here. I'm starting Dell Pickens, Sun God over Ridley. I'm not. I'm starting, of these guys, I'm starting, obviously, Sun God, you started him. Ridley. In any week, I'm starting Ridley and Sun God. And then right now, it's Dell over Pickens, but barely. It's the Dell Pickens dilemma, not anything else, though. I don't bench Ridley. Love Richardson, Burrow, Gibbs, Walker, Khalil Herbert. Gibbs, Walker, Khalil Herbert, Burrow, Richardson. Okay, you got too many quarterbacks in this market to not trade one. You know what I'm saying? That's why you drafted them. You got to trade one. Probably Burrow, I suppose, or Richardson. I don't know if anybody's going to buy Love at the value. Plus, he'll be a good backup for you. But Gibbs, Walker, trying to upgrade Gibbs using your quarterback. Try and get into JT. Try and get into, a potential ETN using Gibbs and Burrow. You should be able to get ETN for that, or a player right around there. You could also potentially trade. I mean, you got a good team. Garrett Wilson and Gibbs for one slightly better running back. What do I need here? Timed out on Curtis Samuel. It could have been worse. All right, let's see what the verdict is. I would definitely trade Garrett Wilson. If you can, in this situation, Garrett Wilson and Gibbs for one player. Try for JT. Try for players around the Aaron Jones. He's injured, played badly. Aaron Jones is probably your best target, Aaron, if you're going after an RB. Rush says, just shout. Let's see here. Would it rank me? It ranked me like middle of the pack. I don't really care, but just a shout. Best fantasy show on the planet. Best of luck this week. Appreciate you, Rush, for dropping the super chat. You are the man. Uncle Philly, Pollard or Ekeler rest of season? You got to go Pollard because Eckler's banged up, and what if he's lingering a little bit walking into his week 6 matchup? But he's out this week. Ekeler has a bye. If you ask me this question in week 6, I might say Ekeler because he'd be bye week free and back at that point. You know what I'm saying? So big determining factor there. Guys, try one of those drafts right now. Resurrection week 6 through 17. Dante, appreciate you. 2-1, 12-team, 0.5, 6 points per TD, 3 wide receivers, no flex. Herbert, Love, Ekeler. Okay, so Herbert's your starter. Ekeler, Sanders, Monty. Ekeler and Monty are your 2 starters. Stevenson's your flex. Sanders is expendable, or Stevenson's expendable. Tyreek, Ridley, great. Dobbs is solid. JSN's solid future. You need to upgrade this flex. You need to trade Stevenson and Dobbs, or Sanders and Dobbs, for Devontae Smith, Waddle, Debo, Ridley, or higher type player, or right around that type of player. And then your team's probably unstoppable, Dante, but that's the only move to make. That's the easy, clear-cut move to make. Smitty, you think you'll go live Sunday morning? I go live every Sunday morning before kickoff, 1 hour before kickoff golf. So you will see me there. Appreciate you all. I'm out of here for tonight. Thank you for drafting with me. Underdog Fantasy, promo code Smitty. They'll match up to $500 in your first deposit, up to $500 on your first freaking deposit. So they'll double it up to $500. Make sure you guys check that out now. Let's see here. Let me just edit this here. So yeah, so Underdog Fantasy, promo code Smitty. They'll match up to $500 in your first deposit using the link that's pinned in the live chat. So go check out that link right now. I just dropped it. Last super chat of the night. Appreciate you, Chris. Any advice? 12 team 0.5 Lamar, Chase, Ridley, Bijan, Achane, Kittle, Watson, bench, Nico, Algier, Warren, Brees, GSN, currently 1 and 2. I love Chase and Ridley. Lamar's just fine at this point. I mean, there's so many quarterbacks in shambles. You could be doing way worse than that. Achane and Bijan's phenomenal looking. It's got some upside. I mean, Achane's got risk, but it's got some tremendous upside too. Watson, I like this team. I don't really want you to move anything. I would say sit tight on this. There's not a lot of bench moves that you can make. Brees, you'd have to sell so cheap. You just wait on Brees. Brees and Achane, one of them's going to work out, I think, ultimately, and Achane might work out right away. And if he doesn't, then, you know, you might be able to switch back to Brees next week. But I would play Achane for now, but it's very, very close. But I think that team's got a lot of firepower, and I really like it. Why Ridley over Pickens now? Pickens, hot hand. I like Pickens, but let's ask the chat. Pickens or Ridley? Ridley or Pickens? I think the disrespect on Ridley, like one of the comments said, is getting crazy out of hand. He's dropped a couple touchdowns. He's dropped probably 3 or 4 touchdowns in the last 2 weeks, which is bad. But he's still getting targeted. I don't think is Sunday morning on the regular TV. I don't know what that means, Rush, but we won't be live for the London game. But I'll be live an hour before kickoff of the regular slate of games. There's Ridley across the board so far. But I mean, giving up on Ridley at this point, walking into week 3 is the only game where it's like we scratched our head. Walking into week 3 is still a top 12 to 15 overall pick. 1 week changed all that into going from your wide receiver 1 down to not even your flex. I can't imagine. I like Pickens a lot. You could put Pickens in the other spot, the flex spot, but I would not sit really. But Young, trust your gut, because Pickens and Dell could both go nuts. I think Dell was the other guy, and Ridley could have nothing, and you're going to be upset in here going, I should have trusted my gut. Make sure, Young, you trust your gut. Don't listen to anybody else. Let us nudge you over the fence if you're on it, but do not let us take you and throw you over the fence on your stance. JT for Achane and Ridley. I'd probably rather have Achane and Ridley, because I think Ridley is, in this topic, Ridley's comparable to JT. Like, we hope that JT plays at the Ridley level, in my opinion. So you get Achane included. 0-3, my Kamara for their... But JT could be amazing, but there are a lot of moving parts to that. He's got to get traded somewhere amazing. It's got to all work out. There's a lot of moving parts. He's still got to prove to be healthy. And Donnie, hurry up. 0-3, my Kamara for their ETN and Evans. I would rather have ETN and Evans. 0-3, my Kamara for ETN and Evans. I'd rather have ETN and Evans. That's a lot of firepower. That's an easy trade to make. It sucks to trade Kamara away and you don't get to play him, but what a move drafting him turns out to be for you. You know, you got to take that trade. Evans is playing out of his mind. And you get ETN, who's also playing great. Amazing. All right, appreciate you all. Code Smitty, link in the description. Link is pinned in the live chat. Use code Smitty to get up to $500 on your first deposit. Double up to 500 on your first deposit. Donnie, you got 30 seconds, Donnie, and then I'm out of here. No full team evals. 30-second question. Go.
Okay, no worries. Thank you, Smitty, for taking my call.
Yeah.
I was offered Chase and James Cook for my Bijan and Ridley. Which side are you leaning?
Bijan and Ridley by a mile. Or half a mile.
Over.
Half a mile. I don't want to overemphasize that because James Cook's pretty good, but Bijan, no way I'm discounting. You're discounting Bijan tremendously to not put him next to Chase and make that a wash.
Yeah.
Chase and Bijan are a wash, at very least. Given Burrow's injured, all that. And so on top of that, bro, you're talking about James Cook versus Ridley. I'm taking Ridley all day long. All right, appreciate you, bro.
Gotcha.
All right, later.
Thank you, Smitty. Have a good one.
All right, Young, you got 30 seconds. Appreciate you. 25 seconds, Young.
Yo, Smitty.
What's up?
Hey, I got
18 seconds, Young. You killed 12 seconds, so start it over. 30 seconds, Young. Go.
All right, man. Would you just start Javonte or wait until maybe Saquon is going to play Monday, but we don't know that yet.
I mean, the feel is that it's like 60% likely he sits. So Javonte's a pretty good matchup. Number one, think of it this way, bro. Number one, the Bears are down all of their entire defensive backfield practically. So you're looking at a blowout potentially. And what happens in a blowout? A lot of running takes place after that. So Javonte's got a nice matchup against the Bears. And we have no clue. We just gave Amy that advice a little while ago, who have Barkley and Jalen Warren, and we ultimately, as a group, kind of collectively thought about it for a while, looked at it, and it's like, how do you not play London when you have no idea Barkley's going to even be? He's going to be lingered and injured, and he's in a vulturing quarterback rushes the football situation, and. Will he be 100%? I hate to say that. Like, look at Monty. Monty, it's really easy for people to say, oh, like Monty shouldn't have been even contemplated to be, looked at as who do you start between Monty and this guy, Monty. Monty, you didn't know what you're going to fully get. So we could get that out of Barkley where he comes out and just gets all the work and looks, way like there's no injury at all. But I don't know, man. Monday is an extra day. Chat, would anybody say Javonte or wait on Barkley? What is your option? Do you have Breda?
No, I have Javonte, Roshan.
Well, you do have Roshan.
Starting Achane, obviously, no matter what.
Okay, you do have Roshan. That's not bad. I don't know if Amy, if you can look and see if Roshan's on waivers, that's also a good idea. That's not bad.
Yeah, I think Javonte is the move for this week.
Yeah, Roshan's not bad.
He does have a really good matchup.
I probably would say though I would go with Javonte. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Javonte, Achane, it is. I'm feeling good about it.
Yeah. I mean, trust your gut though, man, and especially on that Ridley take. Trust your gut. I don't see how I couldn't sit Ridley. He was literally a top 15 overall pick coming out of week 2. Like we all talked about, he's still top 15, right. And he has one game between that moment and now when he's not even people's flex. I don't understand it. But
well, yeah, I mean, Pickens has been doing pretty good lately, and then Dell, and obviously St. Brown he's pretty much a lock. But yeah, I'm gonna have to kind of think about that one too. I'm not all the way for Pickens. I still like Ridley a lot. I think he's going to have a great year still, but he definitely burned me last couple weeks.
Yeah. Well, trust your gut, bro. Trust your gut. Don't trust anybody else. Let like I said, let the advice even for me nudge you over the fence if you're on the fence, but don't let me change a direction you were going because you said I'm benching Ridley, so we're changing your mind, and I don't want to do that. I want you to trust your gut, but I'm just telling you our thoughts. All right, got to go. Appreciate you, man. Negative Ethan. Negative Ethan, you have 30 seconds. That's it. I'm hanging up on you. Go.
Smitty, I don't care if people laugh at me. I picked up Zeke because Ramondre's looking a bit heavy to me. And for my IR stash, I picked up that Keaton Mitchell and dropped Jeff Wilson, because even if Jeff Wilson has a 100-yard game and 2 touchdowns, he's not young like Achane. I mean, I don't think there's even trade value if that happens. So, I mean, it's a copycat league, and so I took a chance on that Keaton Mitchell guy.
All right. I guess I don't hate it. I like Zeke a little bit if you're in a desperate situation. All right. Appreciate you, Negative Ethan. Later. All right, last call no matter what. Juan, you got 30 seconds. Juan, 30 seconds no matter what. Don't give me your full roster. You don't have time. 26 seconds. Go.
No, I just want to say, who should I play as my flex? I have Achane, Hall, White.
Achane, White, and who?
Achane, White, and Hall.
Who? What are you saying?
Brees Hall.
Hall. Okay. Thought you were saying something else. Achane, there's risk to it, bro. Make sure you're going with your gut, because this is 50. This is a definition of 50-50 stuff. You know, I don't want to, like with Young, I don't want to influence you to change your gut instinct, but I don't think
I just don't know who. They're all like the same.
They are. That's why they're 50-50 calls. That's why it's funny, you know, and from my perspective, you feel bad. Like, I'll literally have somebody, you know, a whole team pop off, and I'll let it bother me that I gave somebody, I remember somebody saying, should I start Puka?
I played Gibbs over from Monty.
But yeah, I mean, bro, you weren't, don't beat yourself up over it. You know, other people will act like you should have completely known better. It was probably safer to go Monty, but you were taking a gamble and you trusted your gut and it didn't work, and you would start Monty going forward, but don't beat yourself up over it. All right, bro. Appreciate you. I'll go Achane, but that's me. All right, later.
All
right. Buddha becoming a YouTube exclusive member.
To the moon.
Buddha, appreciate you. Sound like he said Paul. I thought he was saying Pam. Pam? I don't know. Lee coming in with a $5 hauler. Smitty, would you trade Chase for Walker and Brees? I need running backs bad. I mean, if you need running backs bad and you can afford to make this move, maybe you do. I guess. You're taking a gamble, Lee. Chase is the better player. Does anybody agree that this move could be made if he feels strong at wide receiver? I don't know. I feel like you need to get more. Can you have him throw in something else? I want him to throw in something else. This is Jamar Chase, and he just exploded. But, I mean, Walker's been playing out of his mind. Like, Chase is going how many picks ahead of Walker? Probably not as many as people think. But Brees Hall is, like, being given away right now. That's why I say you can't, you know. Get something else. You got to get, like, there's got to be a wide receiver they can throw in. And if they want Chase that badly, you can get him to throw something in. Henderson says, do not trade Chase. No, Chase is worth more. Yeah, I think you need to get more. Have them throw something. It's not something garbage like, but they need to pay a little more. Because Hall shouldn't get you that yet. Hall isn't, you know, fair market value on Hall is low. Do not trade Chase's Wild Bill. Don't move Chase's Rush. Whole chat disagrees or agrees that you shouldn't move Chase for that. I think and I don't need to know your team because I'm leaving, but if you had the depth to do it, it would make sense. It would make sense. Like, if you had the depth to do it, you can get a little more. But, bro, Chase just blew up. Chase should be sold higher. Hey, Smitty, pick 2. Madison, Achane, and Kelly. Go Achane and Kelly this week. I mean, Kelly's going to get the start again. I know he's crapped the bed 2 weeks in a row, but I have a feeling this week he does a little bit more. Don't go benching anybody great for Kelly. I just, you know, he's kind of a nice little bet. Nice little gamble, maybe. Burrow in London for Richardson and Javonte. I'd probably go Richardson and Javonte, but very, very close. I like Burrow a lot. You guys know how much I love Burrow, but there's still some worry there. Go get more on that trade, bro. Go get more. You need more from Chase, but Walker's plenty arguable in that ballpark, to get. We drafting tonight. Maybe Wild Bill. We might come back and do another draft. All right. I appreciate you all. See you later. Thank you all for your super chats. Thank you all to my $20 hauler super chatters, which include Ken Miller. Thank you, Ken. You're amazing. Thank you, Chris, for the $20 hauler. Thank you, Rob V, for the $20 hauler. Lego. Can't thank you enough, Lego. Rick Moore. Axe coming in with a $20 hauler. Thank you, Axe. Appreciate you. We had Johnny Boy coming in with a 20 wad. Johnny, appreciate you. Andre W. Troy Stewart. Unbelievable. And I appreciate all of you. No matter what. Even if it's just a thumbs up. But please hit that thumb up button on the way out the door. Please subscribe if you're new. I'll see you all maybe tonight. We'll have to see. Your boy's getting worn out from these longer shows, but I still love it. I love being here, but sometimes it makes it harder to go live in the evening. But I always try. So I'm going to try to do the graveyard show. Graveyard shows are never guaranteed, but usually we do them. So I'll see you guys potentially tonight for some drafting, for some resurrection drafting like we just did. So I'll see you probably tonight. Live Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, live whenever news breaks. When it's big news, we do it. Thank you, Amy. Thank you, Hybrid. And I don't know if you responded on the Roshan thing. I'm not saying to start Roshan over Jaylen Warren, but it's tempting. Maybe keep tabs on it. Maybe we'll talk about it tonight and tomorrow as well. But Roshan's a tempting pick up and play in your scenario, your situation. See you all later. Appreciate you. Deuces.